Hey, everybody. Alan called me about 10 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. I I should have set an alarm. Today on the show, The Little Mermaid, Master Gardener, Kandahar, and Alan's musings. Let's get the show started. I just woke up. I am about as pre-coffee as you could possibly get. Are they I have a question. Are they roasting me in the chat?
Yes, they are.
Oh no.
I mean, you know, it's like you're being compared to Gary.
I'm not Gary. I mean, I deserve it, I guess, but like, look, I woke up early today. I actually woke up at 6:30. I thought I usually get up around 7, coffee, email, whatever. Got up at 6:30. I'm like, okay, it's a little early. I'll just go right back to sleep. And then I get this phone call from Alan at 9:07. He's saying, "Where are you?" So here I am.
Yeah, I can't believe you stayed up so late for the Little Mermaid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then
All
your
right,
appearance on Latino Slant has me worried. So
oh, what, Paulie? He was there last night.
no, I'm just saying your response to the Little Mermaid, it kind of has me a little concerned.
Why? What did I say?
Sounded like you semi-liked it.
The first 20 minutes. We'll get into it. Let's get into it. All right, let's go to the comments where people are just gonna roast me, which I deserve it. Okay, it's fine. Hail Film Threat says Robert Champagne. Mike MC Wong, hi y'all. One Punch Man Tolkien fan. R.I.P. Tina Turner. She good in Mad Max. Already read Alan's tweet on The Little Mermaid. Looking forward to additional comments, says Akanika. The Nerd Far Away says, hello, friends. Thanks for having me as a member. Well, thank you for being a member. Imperfect says, Little Mermaid struggle session. Let's go. And Jesus Gutierrez for $1.99 says, guys, love your reviews and authenticity. Keep it up. Leo Cody. Hey, Leo. Hello, Film Threat family. Hey, Leo. John Manling. Very much looking forward to Spider-Verse 2 next weekend. Gonna be my film of the summer. I did get
Is that next weekend?
It's next weekend. I already have tickets. I am excited. Like MC Wong, Little Mermaid is not as bad as I thought. I give it a solid 2.5 out of 5. Awkward Fina is annoying as usual. Yes. Movie is not as good as the 2 Chinese films I saw, Over My Dead Body and Godspeed. And thank God it's Film Threat, says Imperfect. Alan Horkin says, someone posted a comment after the last stream, and I learned all about the Japanese Little Mermaid cartoon. The later Disney version has uncanny similarities. Oh, you mean like Kimba? You ever heard of a cartoon called Kimba? Kimba the White Lion is his name. I loved Kimba as a kid. It was the adventures of a white little boy, white lion, who lived in the jungle. Kimba is Simba. It's a complete ripoff. Have you ever seen Kimba the White Lion?
If I did, it was a long time ago, and I forgot a lot about it.
Let's try to find this Japanese cartoon.
All right.
Alan Horkin says, I am very nervous that Spider-Verse 2 will suck. Oh, well, we'll see. Aaron Taylor, Film Threat, Chris Gore having a nightmare of showing up late to the stream and realizing he's in his underwear. Well, I'm wearing like the pants I wore to bed now. Normally I would have actual pants. So there you go. John Manilang says, FT now in nerdrotic time. All right, fine. I deserve all this. Imperfect. Chris got shellfish poisoning from watching The Little Mermaid. Chris was out drinking late to drown out the memory of The Little Mermaid, says AJ. Sifax, I mean. There you go. We forgive and love you, Chris, says Jericho Leon. MK Solid 82 for 199. Chris, did you see the Metal Gear trailer for PS5? I did not, but I did watch. I started to watch the whole 2-hour PlayStation presentation, and then I was like, I'll just watch the individual trailers, and I didn't see that one, but I will check it out.
I'll be seeing the Xbox one coming up in a month.
Oh, well, there you go. Chris probably has on Batman pajama bottoms. Actually, I'll show you. Wonder if I can. Okay, I'll show you what I'm wearing.
Do I need to blur the screen or?
No. Wait. How do I? Okay, here. I'm just gonna pull them up. Can you see? Can you see? It's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's literally PBR. Not joking. Zavin. Hi, folks. Heard WDW Pro's take on Little Mermaid this morning. Curious what you all think.
I don't know what he thinks.
One Punch Man Tolkien fan. It is okay, Chris. Stop going to clubs with X-Ray Girl. I don't go to clubs with X-Ray Girl. That's all I'm going to say. I do not do that. So.
Hi, Dad. I miss you.
Okay, so there you go.
Still a disappointment.
Chris rises like Nosferatu, says MK Solid 82. Paul Fisher, there's late and then there is nerdrotic late. I was how late was I? I was like 15 minutes late.
Yeah, 15.
Fine. It happens every once in a while. Post hangover, pre-coffee, says Eric Stratton. And Imperfect says Gorlock is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Well, I'll just say this, like, we are rarely late. So when we are late, you notice it. Whereas if you're always late, you're actually never late. Does that make sense? It makes sense. So,
by the way, we are live on Rumble. So
we are live on Rumble. Hey, Rumble.
So I'm on the Rumble chat. Hey, Salt.0.
Yeah. Hey, Rumble people, how you doing? Good morning to you all. Grab some coffee because I really need it. Man, I had a new video I wanted to play this morning that I might have to upload while we're hanging out. But I am. There you go. Wait, and Ms. P Coffee is here. She accidentally put up a comment on screen, and guess what? It's not a big deal. I read the comment. I thought it was a good comment. And she swore in the private chat. Miss P Coffee, this is really unbecoming behavior. But we appreciate you and thank you that you're here hanging out with us on a Friday. Well, it's morning for me. Might be afternoon or evening for some of you. But let's get into it. I mean, here's the thing. If we're going to talk Little Mermaid, who cares if we talk spoilers? Because it's a movie based on a cartoon that 99% of you have already seen, that has been around since, I want to say, is it 89 or 9?
89.
89. If you haven't seen the original cartoon on which this is based, and this movie pretty accurately follows that story with variations here and there.
All the beats are there. All the beats from the original.
All the main beats are there. Like, so I don't even know. Does it matter if we put spoiler?
I don't think so. No. I don't think so.
Let's just put spoiler review. I wonder what happens at the end. Is it different from the cartoon? Let me just say this. It's not different from the cartoon. But I'll give you my overall impressions. I want to hear from you, Alan, and then we'll get deeper into it and get your comments. But first, my overall impression. For the first 20 minutes, I was kind of into it. I mean, I'm saying I was into it. The first song that she does gets a big applause from the audience. Her voice, and I will say, best part of the movie is I always get her name wrong. Halle Bailey. Halle or Haley? Halle.
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey is very good. She's probably the best part of this movie. In fact, I would just go so far as to say she is the best part of this film. And for the first 20 minutes, I'm kind of captivated. Like, all right, it's not like this, the CG, whatever. They chose a style. That is the style. Okay. After a while, you forget it because of the voice acting. And for the first 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm really liking this. What are people talking about? And then Prince Eric, I thought was pretty milquetoast. And the movie just kind of got, I think I was sitting next to Paulie from Latino Slant and he fell asleep. He was like, dude, I'm having trouble staying awake. So I don't know what to say.
Were there kids in your audience by any chance? I doubt there were, but
there were some kids, but because it was a later show, 7:10 p.m., didn't start till 7:30 because of trailers. It was a mostly adult Disney fan audience. It should have been packed, but it looked like a bunch of seats were canceled at the last minute because there were prime seats, like the best seats in the middle that no one was sitting in. And I thought, well, I wonder if people just like canceled their tickets at the last minute. So there were like almost full theater and then chunk empty, but there were the prime seats. It was weird. Anyways.
Let me just respond to your comment about Halle Bailey. I mean, it's kind of like what I saw at D23. They brought her out and it was clear she's Black Ariel. You know, she has that kind of effervescence that Ariel has. And so I think, you know, someone in the comment said, you know, who else could have done the role other than her? And, you know, you'd be hard pressed to think of a person that age that could pull that off. And I thought she was okay at being the live action version of Ariel, but it's the entire film that's the problem.
I would agree with you, Alan. She's not the issue with the movie. It's not her. The issue is modernity and running time. Yeah. That is the big issue with it. I don't even know another way of saying it.
Yeah.
I really like if they had basically said, hey, we're going to go in colorblind. We're just going to see a bunch of people. I would have picked her. I mean, do you agree with me? Like, yeah. I mean, you know, she's a star.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can't think of someone her age that could have pulled it off as well or better than what she did.
So I just wish,
but like I don't know a lot of people her age, so you know that's a tough one to call.
Yeah, but the weird thing is, okay, let's go into the things that I don't know that are people are gonna shills, dude. I'm just saying for the first 20 minutes I liked it and I thought she was really good, and then the movie is like too long in the tooth and gets boring, and that song with Awkwardfina is just like, oh god, they should have cut that out. I'm tired of these movies that are over 2 hours. I'm tired of it. This does not need to be over 2 hours. It could have been an hour, 40 minutes. You could have taken the same movie, an hour and 40 minutes, and you would have been fine.
Yeah, they could have done the shot by shot of the original, and it would have been great.
Someone was saying even that, like, I think it might have been Gary from Nerdrotic was saying that part of the reason that he thinks that these movies are long, they want them long because of streaming. Because once this movie, The Little Mermaid, goes on Disney Plus, people are going to watch the whole thing. And it's all about minutes watched. So literally, the more minutes you have of a movie, the more minutes watched you get on your streaming service, which is why movies are, you know, are getting like long.
But here's the problem. You know, I mentioned before at my screening, there were a lot of kids. They were squirming. They could not handle the 2 hour, 15-minute runtime. And then Lorena Creel was at an afternoon screening yesterday, and she said the exact same thing. Kids were just not. They're just being very antsy throughout the entire film. And
well, look,
and it's that moment when she gets her legs that the movie just drags. The story just drags, and they have to force in 3 songs. You know, kids are. I think box office wise, it'll do great this weekend, and there'll be a big drop off because families will not see this movie again. They'll just go home and watch the original on Disney Plus.
It's not going to get repeat business. It's not going to get repeat business. But yeah, for the first 20 minutes, Under the Sea stuff with her, her father. And the weird thing was he has these daughters, but they're all different ethnicities.
Yeah.
So he's got a Latino daughter and an Asian daughter and a white daughter and another black daughter. And I'm thinking, what's he been up to?
Well, the other thing is, we mentioned it on the last on Tuesday, but what happened to their mothers? Why are they not around?
Yeah, why are the moms? Does he eat them after?
Yeah, well, people have been bringing up Henry VIII.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like there's really kind of no explanation, and it's sort of like, so they're all his dad, like all these mermaids. This is their dad. Where's the mermaid? Where's the mermaid?
Yeah, we know man killed Ariel's mother, but what about the other 6 mothers?
Right, but look, this movie, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, mainly because I kept hearing how bad it was going to be. And the first 20 minutes I was in, and then I was like, oh yeah, now I see all the flaws. Yeah. It's like I went out on a date, had a really good time. We spent the night together. Then I woke up and saw her in the morning. That's The Little Mermaid. I was like, oh, okay, well, gotta go. See you later. And
by the way, what did you think of the mermaid special effects?
They were fine.
It's
like what's that?
They weren't fine. They were CG faces real faces pasted on CG bodies.
Well, that's true. That's what it was. But it was like, that's the style. I saw it in 3D, which I think changed it a little bit for me. I did see it in 3D and I thought, oh, it reminds me of Avatar, right? Like underwater 3D. I thought that worked. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I need to see it in 3D, but then that would require me to have to
see it again. Yeah. You don't want to see it again. You don't want to see it again. But so I don't know. Is it going to be a big hit for Disney? We'll see. I mean, my screening was mostly full, but it is Burbank, AMC 16. Mm-hmm. They tend to get they get a lot of people there. I don't know. What's your prediction on how well this is going to do?
I think it'll do well. I'm no expert when it comes to box office, but it could hit the $100 million mark. And the thing is, it's a kids movie. And so, you can't really rely on the Thursday night numbers because families will go out over the weekend, especially the Memorial Day weekend. So you have till Monday to kind of see it. And it's just, like I said, I do not believe there's repeat value here. I don't see families, and films like this rely on that repeat business. And I don't think families are going to come back and see the movie again.
But I think your average moviegoer is going to generally like the movie, with the exception of the running time. Hollywood has a running time problem. Huge running time problem. So I don't even know. I mean, how do you even it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's I'm so sick of it. I might have to have a rant. I might have to have a rant. So bottom line, it's a piece of shit. Yeah. So there you go.
Hey, so I got to ask you. So Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote new songs. What did you think of the Prince Eric song?
I thought it was awful. I thought all of those new songs were.
By the way, how did you think it was? What was your feelings about the way it was shot?
It was weird. It was weird. It felt like very like they were kind of fetishizing him. Does that make sense?
Well, to me, it came off as it's these pretentious Broadway musicals. All the song was him walking down a hillside to the ocean and just emoting his brains out, of just crying about, being kept on the island and not being able to explore the world. And he's just emoting all over the place. And I'm like, this is lazy filmmaking, especially when it comes to musicals.
I think the Prince Eric song, pretty much everyone thought, just give me dick. that's what a lot of people were thinking.
Yeah.
Just give me Dick.
About the
Dick
other one.
Grayson. I knew that would get clipped the minute I said that. Several people sent me clips of myself saying Dick. So, yeah, the new songs were completely unnecessary, and they all were there to pad the running time, which should.
Was also there to get an Oscar nomination.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I feel like when people think they hire Lin-Manuel Miranda, they think, well, we just have to use what he sends us. And I think that he's way overrated. I remember thinking that, I hate to say this, when I saw Hamilton, everyone's like, oh my God, you got to see Hamilton. You got to see Hamilton. Well, it's all like the founding fathers, all race swapped, right?
Yeah.
And it's the story, of Alexander Hamilton, right? Through rap songs. And I remember seeing it and everybody praising it. I'm thinking, this is okay. This is like, you know what it reminded me of? I'll tell you exactly what Hamilton is. It's Schoolhouse Rock. It's I'm Just a Bill. The Schoolhouse Rock songs that would teach you American history with a cartoon and a song. So what Lin-Manuel Miranda did was basically make a stage play, race swapped the founding fathers, and then basically did a long episode of Schoolhouse Rock. It's super overrated.
By the way, I'll say this. I did like Hamilton, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you give him a couple of years to write a musical, he will write you a great musical. If you give him a year to write songs, he will give you mediocre songs. I don't think he had enough time to work on these songs. And anytime he's been added to pad a movie, it's never been good. But I liked Hamilton. I liked Encanto.
Yeah, I thought after I saw Hamilton, I was like, this is overrated. People are overpraising it. It has sort of like the simple conceit, which is the race swapping, and then it's basically an episode of Schoolhouse Rock. That's all it is.
Yeah, I almost walked out halfway through In the Heights. It was just so bad.
Oh wow, BS In the Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to watch it. I watched the beginning and then I thought this isn't for me. I skipped out. So yeah, so Little Mermaid, not as bad as everyone says until you get past the first 20 minutes, and then it's just I will say, what's her name? Melissa McCarthy. I thought she was also very good.
I thought she was good. I didn't like the way they animated Ursula. It was done so much better than the original.
Yeah, it felt weird. This animation style was like this weird sort of realism, right? It's like, you have Sebastian who's like looks like a real crab but has these eyes. If you saw that in real life, it looked creepy. Yeah.
Well, also, when I say that they just pasted her face on an octopus body, that it was Melissa McCarthy that stood out the most. And it was just not, it's just not well done, and it could have been done so much better. The last thing is the ending when King Triton sends the young couple off. How did the audience laugh, for one thing, or did they groan?
Yeah, all I can say is this wasn't really for me. It's not a movie for me, but I was surprised how much I enjoyed the first part. I thought and it was really because of her, right? I thought that Halle Bailey was very, I don't know. I think she's a star. Also, the other thing about her that's interesting is her face looks like she's a Disney character, like someone drew her. Like she looks like how a Disney princess looks when you draw that person, right? Like, or when you draw that character. Are you drinking out of a mug that is a Tinkerbell mug?
Yes, it is. There's Tinkerbell.
and you have tea in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm Asian. I like tea.
All right. Well, I forgive you. Then.
It's my culture.
What little Tinkerbell is your Tinkerbell?
No, the tea is my culture. Tinkerbell is my upbringing.
Well, so there you go. I watched the first 20 minutes and I was thinking, God, I'm kind of liking this, and then it dragged so bad, and you could feel it in the audience too, because they were kind of pumped at the beginning and they applauded the first song, and then after that it was nothing, just whatever.
Yep, that's what we got.
Yeah.
Under the Sea, underwhelming.
Ooh, there you go. All right, let's go to your comments and questions as we continue on a Friday morning. Good morning, everybody. So, opposite of your Flash experience, says Eric Stratton. Yeah, kind of the opposite. Where like the first part, I was just like, Ezra Miller, and then it got really good once Batman popped onto the screen. Mike MC Wong says, did not fall asleep in Little Mermaid, fell asleep in Master Gardener. Card Counter was better than Master Gardener. We'll talk about that momentarily. Carlos Estrada, how many barks would Alan's dog give for the Little Mermaid? Well, if you look at him in the background, 0 barks.
Yeah.
Super chats here from Taylor Clements, 1999. Wanted to see if you saw Nick Cage as Superman in the Flash film, and was it actually worth the time? I talked about this earlier this week. I will confirm, because the director confirmed it. Nick Cage is in the movie. Nick Cage Superman is in the movie, and not like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
yes, he did say it. You're saying this is not a spoiler now.
Well, the director talked about it,
okay.
So it's out. It's that information is out.
Okay, it's a pretty cool moment. Yeah.
It's a really cool moment. Nick Cage is in it, and I can't wait to see the Flash again.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big Worm for 5. There have to be at least a dozen girls who look like Ariel, could sing and act as well as Helly. Did her hair color was not an issue with the CGI. You forget about it. Like after the beginning part of the movie, you just forget.
Although they had to remind us that her hair was red at one point in the movie.
Yeah, by saying her hair is red.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but I don't know. Like, again, I think the audience this is targeted to will mildly like the film mildly, if that makes sense. William Sleeper for 199. Triton's Daughters. It's the Bonanza effect. Oh yeah. Mega YouTube 99 for 199. Weber said The Little Mermaid looked better than Avatar 2. What the F?
I got at it. I got into it with him about liking the movie so much.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine that Eric Weber liked The Little Mermaid.
Yes, he did.
He thought it was great, and he gave it an 8 out of 10. I don't know what to tell you. Eric also loved Ant-Man. He thought Ant-Man was great.
Yeah,
Ant-Man 3 was great.
That's where he's right. Little Mermaid is as good as Ant-Man 3 Quantumania.
And by as good, meaning not great. Thank you, Mega YouTube. Football Frequency for 5. I just got a bag of shark's teeth. June 1st, I will be assembling the costumes of the 4 mermaids in my comedy film. They're badass designs coming soon. Well, Football Frequency, drop a link in the chat to pictures next time you're around, and we'll take a look. How about that? Jake D for 15. I don't know what that is.
Tinkerbell mug.
You should sell a mug called Tinkerbell, like a tea, like tea that you drink. Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Well, there was a time where I had an eBay business where I was selling Disney stuff, and this was one of the leftovers.
One of the leftovers of what you were selling, buying, and selling stuff.
Yeah.
I used to sell stuff on eBay. That was The late 90s eBay was freaking Wild West, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
I made a
Could
lot
do
of money.
anything, sell anything. It wasn't regulated. I tried to sell something on eBay like 5-10 years ago. It was five years ago. It's so complicated now. It's like they don't want just average people to sell stuff.
Yeah.
It's made only for professional sellers. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, because when we were doing that eBay business, when I shut it down finally, had a lot of stuff left over, and I can't sell any of it, and no one wants it, quite frankly. There was when the market crash happened, housing crash, Disney collectibles and merchandising went down the toilet, and no one wants it anymore.
Wow. Mega YouTube 99 for 199. I can't wait for the 2024 Snow White remake. Oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah, I can wait.
Yeah, that one looks really. And then the actress who's playing it is just super. It's the same lead actress from West Side Story.
Yeah,
and
she was in Shazam too.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
What got me was when she said that they were trying to fix the problematic parts of the story. The story being the first ever full featured length animated movie to ever exist. We got to fix the problems of that.
Man, here's what bugs me about people that critique a lot of this stuff. They don't know film history.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know film history at all. It's like people of color. I hate that term, but people of color just started showing up in movies in the last 5 years. Dude, watch John Carpenter's The Thing. Okay. John Carpenter's The Thing. Do you realize like how diverse that was? And it was just casting really good actors. That was what, 1982. I'm just tired of people that don't know film history, not understanding context, or not even knowing that certain types of films existed. There was diversity before 2016 in movies, by the way.
By the way, I got into it with a Gen Z about Song of the South, and I'm like, where has education gone? Where has this love for history gone?
Yeah, I have a bootleg DVD of that somewhere. I remember when it was available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the theater.
Pod Racing Palpatine
There
for 199 pounds says, when is the Song of the South remake coming? Alan?
Probably never.
They could fix it.
They could. Oh yeah, they'll fix it. They'll literally race swap every single character.
I remember loving that movie as a kid. It was, the songs are great. Zippity doo da, zippity. I remember the songs, and I remember I don't know. I thought it was a good movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I know.
And again, Gen Z, they won't ride the ride at Disneyland, not until it reopens. But I know people who just refuse to go on that ride. So,
I'm really happy they're not riding the ride, because then I can be first in line. So there you go. Terrace House Guy for 5 pounds says, new to the channel here, will you be trialing any other shows next? That is the plan. The plan is to get through this trial, and it's going to run for a couple more months. And I am pleased to announce to all of you, next week, Ryan Cannell will be here on The Prosecution. It's going to be very interesting between the defense and the prosecution. And I have some guests coming up in June. They're going to be amazing. But yes, on Wednesday, May 31st, Ryan Cannell joins the prosecution for Critics Court, Star Wars on Trial. And then after the Star Wars trial is over, we will consider maybe we'll do Marvel when the Marvels opens. But we're going to it's not going to be an ongoing show. It'll be a special. So we'll have it, and then we'll do it again. Alan, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to get through Star Wars right now, and we gotta, if we're gonna do Marvel, we gotta figure a way to do it that's not too similar to what we're doing now, or the points not being so similar.
Right. It's got to be something different. So, 200-watt studio for 2 should remake The Wiz, but with a white actress.
Yeah.
I actually like The Wiz. I like The Wiz. It's its own thing. You know, it's I don't know. I remember liking it. Why did I like it when I was a kid? Because Michael Jackson was in it, and I liked Michael Jackson then.
Yeah. Nipsey Russell.
Nipsey Russell, The Wiz. Yeah, they could do.
Yeah. Was that Donna Summer too, or not Donna Summer? Diana Ross.
No. It was Diana Ross.
Yeah,
it was Diana Ross.
Okay.
So, Mega YouTube 99 for 199. BIPOC were always in film. Watch Birth of a Nation. Well, that one might be a little.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it bothers me when you hear people who supposedly know film make declarative statements that there was no diversity during certain eras. And I'm like, I could name like off the top of my head a bunch of movies that, well, this was diverse and this was diverse and this had a lead, and like, what are you talking about? But in particular, I think science fiction is diverse. Like, look at the original Star Trek series. You know, look at Star Trek: The Next Generation. Look at Alien. Look at just a lot of other science fiction movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Star Trek, it was a diverse cast, but no one was calling it out. You know,
nobody cared. That was the point.
It was the vision of the future. This is what the future will be like, and we don't need to harp on it. We don't need to lecture. The stories themselves were the lecture.
Right. MK Solid 82 for 199. The fate of Mutt in Indy 5 sounds so depressing. Yeah, I heard some spoilers for Indy 5. Wow. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie sounds just like it sounds awful. Like, I don't want to go through that experience. I don't want Harrison Ford to go through that experience, and I don't want to experience it. Robot Dues for 499. Snow White with skin as white as a Detroit winter street and the 7 nondescript magical creatures. Well, how have they, do you know how they've resolved it, Alan?
The last I heard is, yeah, it's going to be animals, talking animals or something like that.
So they're not going to be dwarves?
There will not be dwarves. And I know several actors in the dwarf community who are fairly upset.
That is so stupid to dramatically change it that much. I mean, that's maybe something that, like, the problem is watching any of these live action Disney movies, that it just reminds you that the original movie is much better.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just all I can think about is the original is a better movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the articles on Film Threat, but I wrote a long time ago about these live action movies were essentially set up to fix Walt Disney. You know, and you know, again, it's this idea of presentism, and I just, you know, there just has to come a point where we just kind of stand up and say, look, let the past be the past, and let's move on. And I don't know why we're so dead set on correcting the past. I mean, I do know why. It's Marxism, but no one's standing up and saying anything. They're just applauding these little virtue signals. Yeah, like when the crowd applauded "Part of Your World," you know, my daughter and I, our eyes were rolling so hard at that moment.
Yeah. Question: what did your daughter think?
She hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Does she want a job at Film Threat? Wait, let me.
I think de facto she has a job at Film Threat.
Hang on. Well, I mean, she comes on the show every time she says she misses you. Where is our review? I'm scrolling through the front page.
It might be, I think I might have put it down to the bottom. It's not in the featured. It's in the.
It's not featured?
No, if you scroll down the website.
Wait, there's a movie called Killer Kites.
Yes.
These movies have long been a staple of moviegoing, dating back to the days of the Golden. Killer Kites is an actual movie that exists.
Yes, it is.
God, I love reading Film Threat. Cracked. What is this?
Summer with the Guys.
Summer with the Curse of the Wolf Mount. That's a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
The Beehive. I love that we have all these like low budget horror films.
Yeah, that's a documentary.
Oh, okay. Where is here we go.
There it is. There it
Little
is.
Mermaid. Oh, you have to put 2023 in the thing so people understand.
Yep.
Okay, what did Alan give it? I just realized we have too many ads on this site.
I know. There's video ads now. Look, scroll down. You'll see the video.
Oh
ads.
my God, Alan, this is
scroll
annoying.
down. Scroll down. You'll see it. Look at that.
That's right in the middle.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this.
Poor kid. Look at that. All right. I think that's an ad for medieval times. Yep. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I got to get them to dial it back. This
Yeah.
is just too many ads. I'm apologizing to the audience right now for there's video ads. There's just, this is I'm just not, you know what we are? Now we're like every other website. I see why they do this, but I don't know. We haven't had ads on the site since January. So I guess we're trying to make up for it. So you gave it a 4 out of 10. That sounds about right.
Yeah. There's no reason to see this movie. There's a much better version. I tweeted yesterday, there's an edited version on Disney Plus.
Yeah, the shorter version is on Disney Plus. Let's keep it at that. Oh my God.
Oh man, I was trolling this movie so hard yesterday on Twitter.
Oh God, yeah. Well, what did you say to Eric Weber as our war escalates?
Yeah, no, it was like he posted a tweet that said, "This is my reaction to the Little Mermaid." Basically, he loved it. What's happening to me? And then I wrote back, "Yeah, Eric, what the hell? What is happening to you?" And then he said he was going to eviscerate me on his live stream, and I don't think he did that, but we started going.
He doesn't. Eric very proudly doesn't watch other YouTubers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I was recommending here's some other YouTubers. Excuse me. Here's some other YouTubers you should watch. And he goes, I'm not going to watch them. I'm like, okay. You don't even have to like them. I feel like there's something to learn about how other people do their YouTube channels, what other people bring. I think there's a reason certain YouTubers are very successful. Some YouTubers don't even do live streams. It's a Gundam. Has he done a live stream? I just watch his videos. Yeah. They're like mini documentaries and they're brilliant. So the YouTubers that are successful have very specific types of strengths. And I just like to watch a variety of different YouTubers. So there you go. So I encourage him. I'm like, Eric, you should watch other YouTube shows. He doesn't watch this show. He doesn't watch anything.
So we can talk about them all we want.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. We're really getting hammered with, I'm not complaining. We're getting hammered with super chats here. That's great.
Yeah.
Let me read these to get through them here. Okay. We're a little behind. William Sleeper for 499. Speaking of knowing film history, Christiani's 1917 film El Apostol was the first full-length animated movie at 70 minutes. I did not know that.
That is a deep dive.
That's a deep dive there. Deep dive. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Snow White is what, 60 minutes, 70 minutes? I think it's 60 minutes.
Yeah.
They thought
how quickly it ended.
Yeah, it just sort of ends. But at the time, Walt Disney was mocked. No one wants to watch a cartoon over 5 minutes. You're crazy, Walt Disney. You're crazy. And then he made Snow White, and it was a huge hit.
Yeah. Well, funny story. He ran out of money midway through. And in trying to get a loan, he basically showed the unfinished work to the bankers. And then that's how he got his loan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was it 1937 Snow White came out?
Yeah,
he basically bet everything on that movie and succeeded.
Let's put it. He bet everything on everything he did. He was always at risk of bankruptcy. And
taking a lot of risks.
Yeah.
Which Disney doesn't do today.
Nope.
Disney's just mining the carcass of its past with these live action remakes. I really just hate the whole idea of this. Claudia Pimentel, and thank you for that. Claudia Pimentel 499. Have you seen the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes? Let's bring it up. Can we bring it up? Alan, could you bring it up?
Maybe. See what happens to my
Well, let's see what if there is an audience score. 200 watt studio for 5. Why do they think we want to watch an Indiana Jones that's old, depressed, and afraid? That's not the character and not the reason we like those films. It's IP. And this is he's going out on this movie. So there you go.
Maybe it's Crystal Skull.
Passiver. Oh, wow. So the audience score is 95%. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 67%. So
yeah, in fact, that critic score has gone down. Yesterday it was at 71%.
So it went to 67, but it still says fresh.
Yeah, because I believe it's 60% is considered fresh, but it's not certified fresh.
Could you look up Attack of the Dock? I just want to see. I'm just curious. Sean Hu for 742. I agree with Neon from Clownfish TV. The live action remake of The Jungle Book 2016 was pretty good. You can skip the others. 99% audience score with 100+ reviews, but only 4 critics reviews. That's going to change. There's some other people that are going to be reviewing the film, my understanding. So,
Christian, there's Chris. There's our review.
There you go. Passivers for 199 just sends in 199. We appreciate that. EJ for 499 pounds. Thank God it's Film Threat. Please read article where Hallie talks about racism and her grandparents picking cotton in the Deep South. Typical Disney PR stunt. Grandparents. How old is Halle Bailey?
I don't know what. Let's just say she's 18 for the moment, and so her grandparents would probably be around 50.
I don't know, man.
They were picking cotton back in the 50s, the 40s and the 50s.
That sounds awful. Yes. And this is not a way to promote a movie.
Quite frankly, I bet her grandfather was fighting in World War II.
Bushin Ryu Cat for 10. Disney had a chance to do it right. Don't change history. Write new stories in the existing lores. Little Mermaid, Sisters of the Sea, Star Wars, Quests of the Omicrons, The Lost of Neverland. Why not? Yeah, these are offshoot stories. Do that. The remaking these, it's just such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea.
Yeah. Also, I can't even think of the last original piece that Walt Disney Studios, not animation, has done.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Bush and Rio Cat. William Sleeper for 499. Alan, in your defense, Star Wars was the first successful animated movie. Love you guys. No, sorry, Star Wars. Snow White. Hey, I haven't even had one cup of coffee yet, folks. Not one.
Well, it was the first. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Successful. Yeah, Star Wars was the first successful animated movie. Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely the first Hollywood animated movie.
Well, no, animated feature, not animated
animated
movie.
feature. Yeah.
Animated feature-length film. I mean, the whole thing is that they actually called this Snow White Disney's Folly.
Mm-hmm.
It was Disney's Folly. Like, you're crazy. No one wants to see this. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going with your comments. We have a lot of comments here that are not super chats, and we like to get to as many as we can. Mega YouTube 99 says kids were getting antsy and squirming at my theater too, Alan. So was I. Mike MC Wong says there was a mother who took her kids outside and to take pictures in the hallway in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Geek Truth 64. I don't think anything could have made this worth a watch. I can't stand these live action adaptations. They are both pointless and soulless beyond the search for more money. Well, it's the lack of ideas. I heard the underwater scenes are too dark, says Andrew S. I don't think it was that bad. That didn't bother me as much. I don't think it was as dark as some had described.
I mean, Under the Sea wasn't dark by any means. Part of Your World was, that was sung in the grotto, so it was dark. Kiss the Girl was at night, so it was dark. So it's kind of bad choice of clips in the trailers.
Here's John Mannering should be working for Disney. Here we go. I want a prequel to this movie just about King Triton spreading his seed in the 7 seas. Well, there you go. Tennis Geek says, with right emotional quotient, engaging storytelling, runtime shouldn't matter. That's true, but that's not the case with these modern movies. They're long for no reason. If you ask me.
And as good as the film is, children cannot sit for 2 hours.
Robot Dudes, who kills Ursula in this one? Does Eric save the day, or do they take that away from him as well? I don't know.
I guess that would be a spoiler, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's dropped. I mean, the thing is that the reason it was important for Eric to kill Ursula was that Triton's sworn enemy saved his life, and they took that away from him. They took that nuance of a story away from us.
MK Solid 82 for 499. Chris, I'm curious, did you feel that a certain G4 talent ghosted you over your anti-woke politics for Attack of the Doc? I don't think the movie's anti-woke.
It was a presentation of the time.
It was a presentation of the time. It's also very balanced because there are people's opinions in the movie that contradict. So it was a conversation. I was trying to be very balanced. A certain G4 talent. Who do you mean? You could actually say, I don't know. Like, look, I think that the people involved, as soon as the new G4 happened, everyone involved in that basically was not going to talk to me. And I think truthfully, I think that everyone at the new G4 was told that I was making a documentary and don't talk to that guy, because no one from the new G4 was interested in having a conversation with me. So I think that there may have been a memo that went out or a conversation. So I don't know. I also don't care. I don't know that the movie would be better if certain talent were involved, because then you get into issues of control. And I didn't want the talent making demands about what it would take to get them in the movie. I don't need them. I was trying to tell a different story. So yeah, I'm just, I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily anti-woke. I'm just, not woke, I guess. I don't know. Like I'm very based in common sense. I'm Gen X. I also don't give a fuck. As a person who's Gen X, I don't fucking care. I don't care. I think what I think. You're free to think what you think. Actually, you are free to think what you think, even if I think that's stupid. So there you go. Yeah.
Plus, I think if you had gotten talent, their responses would have been very measured.
Yeah, it just, they wouldn't have. The people that I interviewed were people willing to actually talk about interesting things. And my feeling is, look, I've done a ton of junket interviews and interviews on red carpets. Celebrities and famous people are the least interesting people to interview. They have nothing interesting to say. Nothing. Because why do they have nothing interesting to say? Because they want to get hired again. So they toe whatever the predominant thing is. They just toe that line. They say what they think they're supposed to say. And they don't have a strong opinion about much of anything, because why would they, and risk not getting hired? So I don't know that I don't,
I don't know. We don't normally get actors. We don't normally interview actors. And I think part of it is, again, like you said, they're tough interviews because it becomes more fandom type questions. And we want to focus on filmmaking, on indie filmmaking. And that's why it's better to bring the filmmakers on versus the talent.
Right. And by filmmakers, we mean writers, directors, sometimes producers, people who make the movies. They have a lot of interesting things to say. And generally on-camera talent does not really don't have a lot of interesting things to say. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, why don't you ask them? But I don't want to like, I'm also not looking to stir up any drama about it. I don't want to like get in a Twitter fight with, Adam Sessler or something like that. Like, I don't care. Yeah.
So the movie's out already. So.
The movie's out. I made the movie I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. I don't know that certain people, certain talent being involved would have made it a better movie. Let's see. Did Kevin Prueher ghost you when you wanted him to appear in the doc over politics? That's what I meant. Sorry. It's okay. MK Solid 82 for 499. I don't know. I asked Kevin several times about being in the movie and he never responded, and many different ways. Direct message on Facebook, email. I emailed him a couple times, including right before, we started shooting back in like 2020 or 2019 or 2020. I sent a copy of the movie to him through someone else. I thought, well, if he's not going to listen to me, maybe someone else who worked with him. He sent it to him. A nice letter. Here's the film. You can watch it on Vimeo. Never responded. So I don't know. And if I know anything about Kevin, his politics, he's probably, if you watch him, he's pretty based. I don't know that he's overtly woke. Having worked with him back in the day, I always thought he was just pretty grounded in common sense. But I also know that he's terrible at getting back to people. And I don't even think he owns a house now. He has one of those, like, he just sort of has like a trailer and he just travels with it. He and his wife, he got married, sold his house, bought one of those trailers and just travels, rents an Airbnb here and there. And he's just traveling the country. He's doing a really interesting YouTube channel right now about AI. So I subscribe to it. Like at some point, I'm sure I'll run into him. I know Zach Selwyn ran into him, talked to him. I know Zach Selwyn ran into him and talked to him. He was not having a good time at the new G4. That's all I'll say. He was not having a very good time.
Well, so now
there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would never ghost anyone over politics. I don't do that. Other kinds of people do that. I don't ghost people over politics. You have different politics from me. Fine. Guess what? We can sit down and have a beer. We can hang out together. It's totally cool. I mean, my friend group is very diverse, and I'm not talking about ethnicity. It's a very diverse, it's kind of weird actually that all these, we're mainly united over the fact that we all love movies and we just all go see movies and talk about stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. At some point I may run into him and I'm sure he'll be pleasant, but I feel like he has made a conscious effort to be unplugged from anything. And it must be very strange. I mean, look, I think that he would like the film if he ever sat and watched it. I think he would like the movie. I mean, it's a love letter to, not just G4 and Attack of the Show, but the best era of Attack of the Show, which was when he and Olivia hosted it. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I also don't take that stuff personally. It's like, whatever. The best thing was I got to make the movie I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. And
quite frankly, sometimes people just want to move on. They don't want to keep rehashing the past.
Yeah. And also perhaps maybe there's a fear on certain people's parts that if I start talking to them, like they'll say things that they regret saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm finishing up the Blu-ray right now. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I am finishing up the Blu-ray of Attack of the Doc. We counted, there's 28 and a half hours of content. We took all the interviews that we did with people and they're extended. So there's like 22 interviews and they're basically like podcast episodes. It's amazing. So we ran all of those. We have deleted scenes, an hour of deleted scenes. We have commentary on the deleted scenes. There are, I think, 14 Easter eggs. This Blu-ray, I'm trying to do the ultimate mic drop on the Blu-ray. So there you go. Thank you, MK Solid 82, for just I appreciate your super chats. Thank you. And thank you for your question. Mr. Echo became a YouTube member. Thank you. If you become a member, you get access to our Discord. On our Discord, you can then talk about Critics Court. There's a Critics Court. You can continue the conversation here with everyone in the chat that's a member. Go on the Discord. And you know what? If you're, look, you could just join. I'm not telling you should do this. You could become a member for 1 month, get access to the Discord forever once you're logged in. So all good. Ken Bogus, Threat Level 2, has been a member for 10 months. Ken Bogus, thank you very much. Says, glad my grandfather fought for the North. I don't feel guilty. Now I can watch Little Mermaid. There you go. Jinx says, can you guys try to get Angry Joe and Mark Riley for the Star Wars debate? That would be cool. I will look. If I got to get contact info for Angry Joe and Mark Riley.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
Could you look them up, Alan? Try to get contact. I invited Den of Geek. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I invited Den of Geek, and he respectfully declined. Not doing collabs for now. Although I did talk to Critical Drinker. Iceman says Alan equals non-alcoholic Critical Drinker. I asked Critical Drinker, and he may come on. But we have Ryan. I just want to spread out all the, get people you really like, but
yeah,
they can't be on every episode. It's like.
Oh, you're still muted.
Vorpal Snack says, this didn't need to be made. Alan Ing, Rotten Tomatoes critic.
Yeah, that's the quote they pulled from my review.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Mark Lurseth, what is happening? Chris liked Flash and now said Little Mermaid isn't as bad as people thought.
Yeah, what's wrong,
Look,
Chris?
I said,
what's wrong with you?
People misinterpret. Look, my reviews are not simply thumbs up, thumbs down. That sort of binary of it's good, it's bad. There is a nuance in there. The first 20 minutes of Little Mermaid was like, okay, this isn't bad. And then it got bad. And my overall is I did not like it. In The Flash, it's the opposite. The first hour is like, oh my God, 2 Ezra Millers, end this, please. And then Batman comes on screen and I loved it. Michael Keaton Batman is great. God, I saw some people in the comments and I was like, I'm not even going to respond. It's like people don't watch the reviews. They just want one, that's not it. Movies, conversation about movies are nuanced. And there you are. You can say Halle Bailey, really good, and movie bad. Does that make sense? Two things that seem to oppose, or a contrast, can both be true. A man in a wiki.
By the way, there's no nuance in my review of The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Well, Alan gave it a 4 out of 10. I stand with Alan.
Yeah,
it's a 4 out of 10.
Look, what's great about Little Mermaid? It's the Howard Ashman songs.
Yeah, which are the original songs.
Yes.
All right.
And I will say the opening shot of the ocean was breathtaking.
Yeah, it was. It for once it didn't look digital.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was digital, but it
wasn't digital. Why would you shoot a digital ocean?
Man, the scene on the ship I thought was great.
Yeah.
That opening scene was very good.
Yeah, the ship stuff was good. I'll say Kiss the Girl. I really like Kiss the Girl. That was the only one.
Individual scenes in movies can be really good. Actors can be really good, and they can simultaneously exist in a bad movie. It's called nuance. I need another cup of coffee. I might have to.
Again, there's no nuance in my review.
Yeah. Amanda Nowicki says the type of crab they made Sebastian look like isn't even found in the Caribbean. It's found off the north coast of North America. Interesting. I will say this, that you know what is actually interesting is the diversity in this didn't bother me because it's the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Is where it's set. So it actually makes sense. Whereas the diversity in Beauty and the Beast, if you go back and watch that, makes no sense because it's in France. In what France in the what era is it?
Oh, who cares?
Yeah. So go back and watch. Don't watch. Watch the trailer for Beauty and the Beast. It's so diverse. You're like, this is distracting. The diversity in this wasn't distracting because that is that world, the Caribbean.
Yeah, I'll say Lorena Creole, who grew up in the Caribbean, will testify to that. That's pretty. That was her. She hated the movie.
God, I gotta watch her review.
Yeah, she hated the movie, but she said they got the Caribbean part down right.
Yeah, I thought the Caribbean. I thought it just felt authentic, and so all of the diversity it just made sense. Like, just make it organic, not forced, and it made a lot of sense. But also, like. People in the chat, what's your favorite African fairy tale? Can anyone think of just your top 3?
Or your top?
You know what I can guarantee? You can't think of one. Oh, I don't understand why Disney, they so want to just take some fairy tales that are out of the realm of what we're familiar with and, bring those to the screen. I would love to. I would really like to be educated about great fairy tales from other cultures, other than the ones that we've been recycling for decades.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that partnership, if it still exists, with the African production company, will change things. But now I wonder, with everything Disney's going through, does this partnership still exist?
Tennis Geek says at least any Bright Side. Is he talking about Little Mermaid? I think we talked about Bright Side. Yeah, like her acting. I thought she was very good. MK Solid 82 for 499. Being around Gen Z kids is rough. They think they know the world and they don't even know what 9/11 was about. It's pretty infuriating. I don't mind that Gen Z kids don't know stuff. It's the fact that they think they know stuff. That used to be a teenager thing. Now that lingers into people in their 20s. They think they know better. There's this term, look it up, MK Solid 82. It's called reverse mentoring. It's when a kid tries to educate, and I think that they need to shut up and listen. I have no tolerance for people like that. Probably why I do have friends who are considered Gen Z. My friend Bobby Schwartz, who's the producer, editor of Attack of the Doc, he is one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's like 26, and he is freaking brilliant. I mean, he is a prodigy, in my opinion. Bobby Schwartz. There's some big things coming from Bobby Schwartz. Bobby Schwartz has not a YouTube. He has a company called Dual Animal. And they're about to he put out a comic book, an anthology comic. He's launching a comic book company. Just follow Dual Animal on Instagram to see his amazing art. This so talented at such a young age. And he actually genuinely knows stuff, but he doesn't assume he knows everything, right? I don't assume I know everything. No one can possibly know everything. Unless
humility is the word you're looking for.
What's that?
Humility is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, there's got to be some humility there. All right, I want to talk about something. I'm actually going to make a banner for it. Alan, why don't you look at the chat while I'm doing something? I might get another cup of coffee too.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking at Rumble here. Winter Soldier says, late and Little Mermaid Rumble Ghetto. I'm sure that means something. Let's see. Yeah, the rest is about Eric Weber.
No, go on. Read it. It's funny. I'm going to go. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee, and my apologies to everyone on my late appearance today. I'll be right back.
Okay, so Salt Dog Zero says, we had Song of the South soundtrack on 45. Yeah, I remember Song of the South used to be something people like to listen to. Zippity Doo Dah and and all that stuff. Zavin says, "Hi folks, heard WDW take on the Little Mermaid this morning. Oh yeah, we actually got that one. Hey Miss P Coffee, if you could grab some Starfew chats, that'd be great." Bushin Ryu Cat for 5. Last thing, Chris and guest. Yeah, I guess I'm guest. The New Mutants movie was not bad. It told an emotional story of acceptance. Visuals were stunning. Cast seemed to get along. I will say this. I did see New Mutants, and I actually did like it. I think it was different because, you expect an X-Men movie, even a spinoff, to be kind of this grand film that takes place in a wide open spaces, while New Mutants took place in basically a small confined space. And and I think they did a fairly good job representing the actual New Mutants. And I remember this movie specifically because it was in the midst of COVID. The theaters in San Diego were the first to open, so my kid and we drove to Carlsbad to see the New Mutants. So there's that. All right. Let me take care of this. Wayward Noodle for 10 says, "Do you guys think Disney is bereft of creativity because they keep trying to remake old content, or just bad writers? Probably wouldn't but maybe let a new generation create their own mythos." Yeah, I mean, I think we've been kind of hammering this point. Disney's not. I think Disney and Hollywood are in the same position. Disney is somehow needing to go back to its old catalog and correct everything. And I think the rest of Hollywood, you notice that there are very few original films coming out, and that everything is a sequel or it's based on some kind of IP. And I get it. It's kind of like if you're going to invest $100 million on a movie, it needs to be a surefire hit, and they just don't trust, filmmakers with creative ideas to do that. Yeah. Hey, Miss P Coffee, if you could start some chats, that would be really helpful. So let's go to Zodlander for 100 Swedish krona. Flashpoint story arc from the comics. We're supposed to focus on Flash story. I got more interested in the story of Batman. It sounds like the Flash film is made the same way. I think we'll hold on to that and let Chris respond to it. Since he's the DC guy. Yeah. Hey, did you want to respond to this one?
Yes. Flashpoint story arc from the comics. We're supposed to focus on the Flash story. I got more invested in the story of Batman. Sounds like the Flash film is made the same way. Keaton as Batman rocks. Yeah, it's but Flashpoint, it's interesting. Was it the comic or the cartoon? I'm trying to remember where in the world that the Flash is in, Bruce Wayne was killed. So Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne, becomes Batman, and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker.
I mean,
so does that make sense? Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting because this is like it's like a third Batman Michael Keaton movie. So yeah, I want to dig out my comic and read it, the Flashpoint, read that before I see it again. But man, yeah, I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait. All right. Real quick. We're gonna, you know what? Any other final comments on Little Mermaid before we move on? Disney doesn't have the money to make original content, so they use old stuff over and over. Part of it is, I think what they're trying to do is erase aspects of their past or make corrections, right? Which I really hate that idea. I hate the idea that they have to correct anything. They make new stuff. My whole point is, did anyone put in the chat their favorite African fairy tale? No, because they're not popularized here. I would like to see Disney do that.
Yeah. I mean, Asian stories get more coverage than South America and Africa.
Well, I hate to say this. You know what it has to do with? The marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
There is a market for that, and it's possible that the African market for cinema doesn't bring in a lot of money, And so why would they spend a lot of money to do that, knowing that they're going to have problems? And I mean, look, did you see the Little Mermaid Chinese poster?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have, but I think Clownfish TV did some research, and they said that was the IMAX poster, and that the regular screening actually looks normal.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, then that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
The Introspect M, they don't understand fundamentals of story and have zero real world life experience to work with. Yeah.
Well, I mean, executives look at the bottom line. They don't look at creativity. And that's what I'm saying is, if a studio is going to invest $100 million in something, it's got to be a surefire bet. And that's why they won't risk on original content. Yeah. Original stories.
Bush and Ryu Cat says, thank you, Alan Ing. It got no publicity and they were new actors except for the Arya Stark actress. The bear was terrifyingly good.
You were talking about the New Mutants there.
Yeah. Raylo Normie says, according to Chato, no child in the last 15 years has enjoyed a Disney classic film, and that children go into these remakes not knowing anything about animated movies older than them. That's fair. That's fair point. I like Paul Chato.
Well, let's point out that Encanto was an original piece, and children love Encanto. In fact, Encanto. I went to Walmart. Encanto toys are still on the shelf, and not a single Little Mermaid toy to be seen.
Yeah. Also, Coco, I thought was great.
Yeah, Coco was good.
Coco was really good.
Yeah.
The music, just I don't know, like that was great. And by the way, Paul Chato is going to be on FNT today. Friday Night Tights. Chato, how is his? I love Paul. His sense of humor. He's just really good at bad dad jokes, and I love those. I know a lot of people hate those. I love bad dad jokes because there you go. Womp Biscuit says, my kid is a young Zoomer, and the kids at his school are more insane than I remember when I was in school. I chalk this up to middle school and not generational. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Womp Biscuits. Bjorn, Disney stole old tales and now has the nerve to correct them. It's true.
That's true. I mean, Walt, for crying out loud, a lot of his movies are based on really old stories of the past. Cinderella.
Well, very soon, I mean, you could make a movie based on these. I mean, you could, make a movie based on these old fairy tales. If they're over 100 years, it's public domain. Mm-hmm. Is it 100 years after the death? I'm trying to remember how that.
Yeah, it's 100 years after the death.
Yeah, there's I subscribe to a newsletter that talks about all this IP that like indie filmmakers should use this IP because it's public domain.
Yeah. I mean, isn't Steamboat Willie coming into public domain?
Yeah. Yellow Flash is gonna do a comic book based on Steamboat Willie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Shout out to Yellow Flash.
Famously, there's a movie about Walt Disney trying to get the rights to Mary Poppins. Yeah. It's not that Disney wasn't doing the same thing.
Right. Geek Truth 64, who's a member, says there's a saying I've observed to be true. The only thing more dangerous than someone who knows nothing is someone who thinks they know everything. 100%. Yeah, someone who thinks they know stuff and you're like, you're an idiot. I don't know. I just never thought that way when I was a kid. I was always interested in learning things, and I was reading books recreationally that I wasn't assigned for fun. I read Dune when I was 14, and it kind of blew my mind. I think I was a freshman in high school or just out of junior high. And I was the right age to read that book because Paul Atreides in the book is 15. The first Dune book takes place, Paul Atreides is 15, and then he grows up to be about 18 by the end of the book. So, yeah, it's weird. And Zod Lander has become a YouTube member. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to pivot for a second because I have something I need to get off my chest. And I want Alan to weigh in on this. I want Alan to weigh in because I'm angry. I am freaking angry. I'm mad, folks. I'm mad. You know when I'm mad, what ends up happening? You know what ends up happening? Let's talk about it. Let's go. Let's go. A freaking IKEA chair. Hollywood has a running time problem. I am tired of this. I don't know what the issue is. If you are making a film and it is north of 2 hours long, you had better earn that running time. There needs to be a real reason why it is over 2 hours. It's not to, placate a particular executive or actor or whatever. There are internal politics at play whenever you see a movie north of 2 hours that shouldn't be. Now, it used to be the rule was dramas were 2 hours, no more than 2 hours. Comedies were 90 minutes. And if it was an epic movie, probably going to be Oscar nominated, it was a 3-hour epic like Gandhi. And even a movie like Gandhi, guess what? That may have been the last movie in a theater that had an intermission. Gandhi, which was released in the early 80s. If you're going to have a movie that is north of a certain running time, you should have an intermission. But these movies aren't just long, they feel long. I'm sick of it. I am so done with this. I don't know. I want to see Hollywood films get back to standard issue running times of 2 hours. Indiana Jones 5 is going to be 2.5 hours. The Flash, 2 hours and 25 minutes. The Little Mermaid, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Why are you north of 2 hours? In a particular movies targeting kids that are made for kids and families, my God, Super Mario Brothers got it right. 90 minutes, tight 90 minutes, in, out. Sisu, 93 minutes. Made for 6 million euros. Action, boom, you're in, you're out, you're entertained. I really feel that this is contributing to soft box office are the running times of these films, because chains like AMC show 20 plus minutes of trailers. I counted last time I saw a movie at the IMAX at the AMC Burbank 16, 30 minutes of trailers in addition to the 2.5 hour movie I was about to experience. That's a 3-hour film. Now, what are the reasons? Do the theaters like long running times? Maybe they do. Does it contribute to larger sales at the refreshment stand? People can now get pizzas, hot dogs, nachos. Do they get more food sales for that? One of the theories is that the running time helps contribute to minutes watched on streaming. So if a movie that really should be 90 minutes is 120 minutes, it's a hit movie and people watch it on streaming, it contributes to longer minutes watched on that streaming service, which can also contribute to the bottom line. I don't understand what this is, but I think I've seen recently way too many films that have a running time that is not justified. I want to hear what you think about it. Alan, what are your thoughts on does Hollywood have a running time problem?
It does have a running time problem. And I'll tell you where it started. This is why we have long movies. It's the invent of digital films. Now that you no longer need film, that's a significant cost that is gone. And that cost was always imposed on directors early on. You know, the cost of film, the cost of processing films, running dailies. Now that you have that, it's free reign. Okay, go ahead, make a movie as long as you want. The other thing is, theaters are no longer having to switch reels. I think that's why you saw most movies being 90 minutes long, because now you don't have to have someone in the booth running from booth to booth switching reels out. And so, we've kind of brought this upon ourselves with the advent of digital. But I think the long runtime, what it speaks to is a lack of discipline for storytellers, for directors, people who, it's like there's something about having constraints that makes you a better filmmaker. And I think runtime was a big one. Tell your story as succinct as you can. Always be looking for ways to get points across better, quicker, and now it's just kind of like just make your movie and we'll deal with it. I don't think theaters have a big problem with run times now at the multiplex. I mean, for crying out loud, my AMC is 30 screens, so there's plenty of room to show movies. So yeah, it's. I will tell you this regarding runtime. Last year at awards time, every damn movie was over 2 hours long. It was over 2.5 hours long, and there just came a point where it's like I don't want to go to any more screenings. I don't want to see any more of these movies because they just go on and on forever. And you show up at 7 and I'm not home until midnight. And at least throw a good party. Then I'll show up and see your damn 2-hour movie. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just I'm gonna this was done by, I think, who did this? Portland 182 on our Discord. People post a lot of like they're making Film Threat memes. I'm gonna start sharing those on our Instagram. So go to the follow the Film Threat Instagram if you don't already. We mainly post like weird memes that people make or videos of you and I, Alan. Mm-hmm. But also mostly our Instagram feed are weird movie posters or movie posters that I personally like, because I'm trying to create a feed that looks like the bottom shelf at a video store. That's what the Film Threat Instagram feed is. But I'm going to start posting these memes, including this one, normalized 2-hour movies. I'm looking at you, James Cameron. I just wonder if there are better versions of movies. Like, for example, I actually really like the Zack Snyder, the Snyder cut of Justice League. I like it's over 4 hours. There's a really good 3-hour movie in there, a 3-hour movie with an intermission. Okay. There are a lot of movies I like that are long, but they would be better movies. The Little Mermaid would be a better movie under 2 hours. You could have told that story in 1 hour and 40 minutes. A lot of these movies would be better movies, shorter films. It used to be, and Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, they had it down. They had a rule. Movies are 2 hours. When Return of the Jedi slid to like 2 hours and 12 minutes, that was kind of a big deal. It was like, well, they broke their rule of a movie that's over 2 hours. And so it was kind of surprising when they did that. They started just getting whatever. They couldn't figure out what to cut. They didn't want to, because back then when you cut something from a movie, you never saw it again. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until Laserdisc did you see then like you could have deleted scenes. And then of course that became a staple on DVDs and whatnot. So now I'm looking up
in the Indiana Jones trilogy, all under 2 hours, just under 2 hours long.
The first 3 movies.
Yeah, first 3 movies.
And as soon as they slide more than 2 hours, the reviews get worse. Yeah. It's that thing, and editors say this editors and filmmakers say this. You have to kill your babies. You don't actually mean killing babies. Meaning you got to kill something that you love. You got to cut. I mean, look, I'll tell you this. The first cut of Attack of the Doc was 2 hours. It was like an assembly, and man, the beginning dragged. I still think the beginning of the movie kind of drags, but there's parts of the story we just have to, like, for context, have to be there. After you get past the first 10 minutes of Attack of the Doc, it picks up pace. Yeah. But I'm criticizing myself.
Yeah, I know, but there's a buildup that has to happen. There's a momentum that just kind of has to run with these movies, and so yeah, I don't think there was a problem with Attack of the Doc. It can't start running right away. It can't start with a sprint.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and then let's be real. Editors are just as much a part of the problem as directors.
Yeah, absolutely. We have special guests that are going to be joining us soon. I forgot to mention a documentary I saw. We'll get to it. Yeah. Nick, who is in our digital green room, please be patient. We're running behind today, so my apologies. We will get to it. I assume you're So I just want to say I'm going to go to the chat here real quick.
Let me just make one last point. Sure. I've mentioned it before, but I think filmmakers are best when they're given constraints and not given the keys to the kingdom.
Mega YouTube 99 for 199 says, Alan, what movie is that about Mary Poppins?
It was Saving Mr. Banks.
Yep.
Which was a Disney movie.
And Chris Barone for $9.99 says Quentin can get away with 2 hours plus. Not many others these days. Love you guys. Yeah, I agree. Quentin or Quentin Tarantino and also Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Yeah. Daniel for 5 says totalitarians are famous for giving excessively long speeches. Castro famously went on for 4.5 hours. These movies are lectures, not entertainment. Well, there you go. Shooting on film was expensive too. There's a danger to do less planning with digital cameras. Well, there you are. Cool. Having worked at a theater for 15 years, I can comfortably state they hate long movies. Less showtimes is less tickets sold, less concessions sold. There you go. Having good boundaries makes you a better person, and that applies to films, says Quator. Cool. All right. We're going to put a pin in this conversation for a moment. We're going to put a pin in it. Because, wait, what did we do?
I just got rid of your screen.
But I liked that. We have special guests that are joining us. I can't wait. Oh, dang it. Hang on, folks. I'm a little off today. If you can't.
Yeah, I'll just read from Rumble, Salt Dog Zero. If the movie is 2.5 hours plus a half an hour for trailers, plus getting to the cinema and back, perhaps another hour and a half, that's 4.5 hours, which is too much time to catch a film after work and a big chunk of time of your day off. Yeah, I remember what was the last 90-minute movie I saw. I was amazed that I was back home before 9 o'clock.
Well,
that's a lot of time to see a movie.
First of all, I need to tell you about a documentary you have to put on your radar. Put this documentary on your must-watch list. Go to Just Watch and type in Chop and Steele. This documentary about Joe Pickett and Nick Prueher. These pranksters appear on television shows, creating sort of fake. They pretended to be fake strongmen and appeared on local television shows and did a tour. They also do the Found Footage Festival. If you've ever heard of it, I have attended that event when it's been in Los Angeles. It's absolutely incredible. This documentary about Joe and Nick is so incredibly entertaining. I'm ecstatic that we have them on the show today. Please welcome Joe Pickett and Nick Prueher. Guys, I loved your documentary.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I gotta say, first of all, Chris, like Film Threat is largely responsible for the Found Footage Festival even starting.
How?
Because we did it like 2004, April of 2004. We rented out a place in the Lower East Side, and it was like a 50-seater, and it sold out. It did really well. And we were doing our early stuff, some of our first finds of the Found Footage Festival. And I don't know, I think you had a guy there who saw it and wrote about it in Film Threat, and and it did really well online. And then that gave us the confidence to oh, maybe this is a thing. And we're like, hey, Film Threat's covering it. So we booked a West Coast tour right after that. You guys have always been so kind to us. So we love you guys.
Well, I love your guys' work. It reminds me of, I made these 2 tapes that became infamous, called, you may have heard of it, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. I made this when I was in college.
I don't know that one. Was it a mixtape? It was like one of the VHS mixtapes.
It was a mixtape of video, but I had collected because I worked at a video store at the time, and we did a lot of transfers from 3/4 inch to VHS. So if I ever saw anything really interesting, I would make a copy of it. So I made a copy of this one. It was a McDonald's training film on courtesy. And
really?
It is hysterical. And these 2 tapes, I used to sell them in the back pages of Film Threat, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. They became so famous. a company, and I don't own the rights to any of this stuff. It's just found
Neither
footage.
do we. We don't own it.
I don't own anything. So they ended up being put out on DVD. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it. I was selling the VHS tapes. I was selling the VHS tapes in the 80s. Someone put them out on DVD. And if you go to IMDb, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter have their own entries. And if you Google found footage, Cathode Fuck, someone wrote an essay about how influential these two things were. Because I was very on purpose. And at the time I made these tapes, it was just 2 VCRs, going from one to the other. Sorry, we're going to get to your movie in a second.
Take your time. I'd rather talk about this.
So what I did was, one of the things I did was I found every instance that punk rockers were talked about on television, and I sort of spread it throughout. So it was like, punk rockers on the Donahue Show. Who are these punk rockers? And then there was like an episode of Chips where there were these evil punk rockers who had this club. And by the end, they had gotten rid of the evil punk rockers and turned it into a disco. So it was like every instance, it was like on the local news, punk rockers are doing this. And so I kind of put it throughout it. Then I had the McDonald's training film on Courtesy. And it was just all weird shit. So look up Cathode Fuck, TV Sphincter. I have the original VHS tapes. And I must have made hundreds, probably over 1,000 copies of it.
You're kidding me. Wow. So this is like pre-TV Carnage. Like you're the pioneer.
Yes.
I feel like there needs to be a documentary done on those VHS mixtapes back then. Because every city had one. I remember like Cleveland, we'd go to Cleveland and we'd get the Crazy Dave tape every time the new Crazy Dave tape would come out. And then TV Carnage, of course. But I had no idea that you were the pioneer here. And I feel like it's sort of like people would even suggest stuff. You got to do this. TV Sphincter is particularly gross. Cathode Fuck is more like punk rock. And then TV Sphincter, I just sort of, it's gross stuff. I'm not 100% proud of it, but it's on. I can't believe that someone made, not me, someone else made an IMDb entry for Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. Is there anywhere we can see this? Can we see it anywhere? Like, is it available?
You said you had a videotape, right? Or...
Hey, we'll re-release it under our banner.
Okay.
Yeah.
After this, can you have your publicist or whatever, like email me or give them, get my email address from them? Like, I'll send it to you.
Look at this. Business is getting done. Business is getting done right now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But let's talk about your doc.
Where's Nick? Is Nick here? Nick probably
he's having technical issues. He's having technical issues.
He's still got the dialogue.
And then I brought him on screen. But okay. Joe, dude, your documentary is hysterical.
Thank you. And before we get into that, though, I do eventually want to circle back and talk about your McDonald's video, because the McDonald's video is what got us started too. And in the documentary, in the documentary, we meet one of the guys from the training video. Spoiler alert, but
Well, this video is a different one because I grew up, I was in Michigan, right? Detroit. So we get but the other thing was that, this is another weird thing that I'm not proud of all this stuff, but I got to send it to you. So one of my jobs at this video store, I was such an obnoxious smartass. I have not changed. This is when I was a teenager. I lied about my age to work at this video store because I was 16 years old and they had porn and you couldn't work at the video store unless you were over 18. And I said, yeah, I'm over 18. They eventually found out I wasn't. They were like, whatever. We like you. It's fine.
You didn't have to show the ID or anything. It's just like, all right, you look 18-ish.
I mean, this was the early 80s, right? So I'm working at a video store.
That's the Wild West.
And exactly. So, but what I would do was I was a counter jockey, right? So I'm renting videos to people, but someone would ask what's your recommendation for a good comedy? And I would say Pink Flamingos, great movie. John Waters, Baltimore filmmaker. You'll love it. So
accessible, fun for the whole family. Yeah.
Right. So people complained about me because I was constantly recommending movies that they would be upset by.
Where people eat shit in it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they're like, all right, but we like you. We'll give you a different job. So my job became transferring people's home movies to video. That was my job. They'd come in with these long reels, transferring home movies. So one of the things I began to notice, these are movies 8mm, everything from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then by the 80s, people had those giant camcorders, that you put over your shoulder, that connected with a big wire to a little side thing with the
U-matic or 3/4 inch U-matic.
Right.
big, huge tapes. Yeah.
Precisely. So I was transferring all these movies, and one of the things people I noticed, they always would film rituals, birthdays, weddings, Christmas Day. One thing that recurred, and I could predict it, people thought I was crazy. I would say, here's a video of Christmas morning, and there would be a boy and a girl, and I'd say, watch. He's going to unwrap that present. I've never seen this video before, this film before. Like, it's running through 16 millimeter. We could
It's like a
transfer
magic
any
trick.
form.
Yeah.
It was like, it's going to be a gun. And he would unwrap the present, a boy, and it's a gun. Then the girl would unwrap a present, and it was a doll. Every single
Clockwork.
time.
You could set
Never
your watch
not.
to it.
So what I did
Wow.
was I started saving those scenes for myself. And in Cathode Fuck, there's a montage. Boy opens a gun, a girl opens a doll. Doll, gun, doll, gun, doll, gun. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, this is just, it's weird. It was just something. I wasn't trying to make like any big social commentary. I'm just notice this.
But I do think that these videos, like, they say more about us as a culture than, like,
Yes.
the great films of all time. Like seeing something like that, it's just like, oh, we get the boy a gun, we get the girl a doll, and everybody did it. That's fascinating.
The other thing was, here's another video that was a recurring thing that I saw more often than not, was a husband surprising his wife by bringing the camera into the bathroom while she's going to the bathroom. Now, there was never any like nudity. It wasn't like, there was nothing graphic about
that
her.
old gag. Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I've got a camera. I'm gonna surprise her in the bathroom. And this was another thing that recurred. It was just so weird. It's like, why do people like? It's like another thing that, like, things that happen all over, but people are not talking about it. They just instinctively do it.
I think home movies are like that too, because people were so excited to get those camcorders,
Right.
and then they didn't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, I'm not going to make a movie. I'm going to film kids opening presents. That's what 98% of them are, kids opening up presents. But then sometimes, they're like, oh, we should do something funny. I'll walk in on my wife while she's taking a dump. Like,
Right,
I don't know.
exactly.
They just don't know what to do with it. And a lot of the times you just see them like going to the zoo and like filming everything. It's like, are you going to watch that later? Do you want to see that like
Exactly.
zoom in on a giraffe? Like, are you going to, there's just so much stuff like that. Home movies are the hardest. Like I get excited when I see them because we found some gems over the years.
Yes,
We found
I
some
know.
needle in a haystack though. Usually it's really like painfully boring. But
Right.
Chris, I think it's interesting. Like, I feel like we've had similar career trajectories because like before I did found footage, I worked at a video duplication house where my job was to make copies of people's videos, and also like in industrials too, like safety videos and training videos. Like, this is stuff that you can't get at thrift stores. So that's where my collection really began. And then I'd make an extra copy for myself, and then I did a video mixtape while I was working there because I had all the gear, and I sent it out mostly to my friends, And then Nick was working at a McDonald's, and Nick and I have known each other since we were in like 6th grade. He was working at a McDonald's, and he had to watch a training video for janitors, for custodians, called Inside and Outside Custodial Duties. And he brought it home. And we just watched it constantly. We roomed together in college, and we would have these running commentaries. We would bring over, the neighbors, and we'd be like, hey, we got to watch this. We must have watched this movie like 500 times. We got obsessed with it. And then that's all what led to Found Footage Festival starting. And then you guys helped us get out there. So holy shit, we should have talked about this a long time ago.
We should have, for sure. But when I even discovered that the Found Footage Festival existed, I'm like, this is like a festival for me, because I would obsessively watch these things. And the more you watch it, the kind of weirder it gets, because you notice the subtle bad acting. Industrial films are just like, to me, chef's kiss when they're like really bad. Like, these are non-actors. There's a script that some guy in advertising wrote, right? Like, these films.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's like, there's one called, it's put out by an insurance company. It's called It Only Takes a Second to Be Safe. And it's just a series of people getting injured over and over again. It's all reenactments, but it's just like, it's just relentless. It's just people falling off of a forklift, falling off a ladder, slipping on some grease. And that was the first video where I was like, oh, this is something that people need to see. And also, when people would watch that, they'd have to watch it like in a work environment. And then we showed it to an audience one time, and we're like, holy shit, like this, like when you take it out of the context that it's intended for and you put it in a room of people, like the McDonald's video. You know, like this is normally something I have to watch in a smoky break room, and I'm depressed that I have to work this job. But then you get to watch it with a group of people, and something magical happens. So that I think that's what the magic of the Found Footage Festival really is to take that bullshit that you had to watch by yourself, and now you get to laugh at it with an audience. So
it brings self-awareness to these situations.
Wait, say it again?
It brings self-awareness to these situations.
100%. Yeah, totally.
This is we didn't even introduce ourselves. But Alan Ng, editor of filmthreat.com, and you know me. Score.
I really like the documentary, and one thing that stuck out to me is what do you do with all that comedy money you make?
Oh my god,
you can see behind me. Look at I'm doing pretty well over here.
I'm going, that's pretty much the state of comedy, is like people loving what they do and not making a single dime out of it.
100%. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, and I'm just like, when will this love like run out? You know, like I don't know. I can't imagine doing anything else.
This doc is so good. I mean, you guys, you tricked your way onto America's Got Talent, which is brilliant. I've seen that show live before.
They invited us.
It's amazing.
They invited us. We didn't tell them what we were going to do when we got on.
You tricked the judges, basically. Yeah.
We tricked the judges once we got on there, and the producers too. Like we told them we were going to do one thing, but then we did another thing. And I don't want to. Let's not spoil it, because that's like a major crux of the movie. Yeah.
It's so good, and the film also goes through. You just have to see this documentary. It's I mean, it starts kind of off with like you and Nick being friends. Nick is trying to get back on here. Let's see if we can get Nick on here. There he is.
We got him.
Nick. We got him. Nick, how's it going, man?
And he's frozen.
Oh no!
That's like Nick's permanent face right there.
There you go.
Concerned. Oh, there we got him.
There we go.
Move your arms, Nick. Move your arms. Let's see what happens.
Can you hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
I don't.
Oh no. That's all good. We'll keep them there. It's great. It's but this documentary is it out on like on video on demand right now, right?
It's on demand right now. Yeah. If you go to like iTunes or whatever, Apple, Amazon, all those ones, you can find it. It's easy to find.
So it's really about it's about a lot of things. Your guys' friendship, how you bonded over found footage films, creating the Found Footage Festival, and then creating these characters that you would play on local television, which led to a lawsuit that then you had to fight. And the lawsuit, what's funny is the way that you deal with this lawsuit, and you're thinking like, oh my God, are they going to jail? Are they going to like lose their livelihood? So it's we lost Nick. His internet must not be great.
Close. Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. You're the spokesperson now for the.
Oh, we don't need him. He's just dead. Yeah.
But like, dude, I love this doc. I love docs that tackle like issues of pop culture. There's real stakes in this documentary.
Yeah,
talks about your lives. Tell us like what led to the doc. I know you didn't direct it, but like, or did you direct it?
No. Ben Steinbauer, the guy who directed Winnebago Man, directed that, and we knew him because we were in Winnebago Man because we played. When I was in Minneapolis,
right?
That's where Winnebago Man was. Well, the original footage for the Winnebago RVs was shot in like rural Minnesota. And then it was all Minneapolis crew. And I knew that crew when I worked at the video duplication house. And they're like, you got to see this tape. This is like before it was even uploaded. I was like watching it. I was like, and of course I made a copy for myself. And then Ben tracked down, for people who haven't seen Jack Rebney, the world's angriest RV salesman, you got to look this up right now. Like you're going to hear Sgt. Pepper's for the first time ever. Like this is mwah, this is as good as it gets. And he tracked him down. He's this angry, it was outtakes from this Winnebago RV promotional video. And this guy just goes on these angry tirades and he swears and he's just like, it's almost like poetry. He's so good at swearing. And it was always our show closer in our early shows, like because it was just so good. Well, Ben tracked him down and did a whole documentary about that day. And Ben's really good at like finding the funny part of it, but finding the heart of it too. And it had like, there was some heart to this movie, which surprised me. Anyway, so the end of Winnebago Man is Nick and I up on stage in San Francisco, and we're introducing Jack Rebney to an audience. He didn't even know like people had seen this video before, and he's getting autographs, he's signing autographs, he's getting photos taken with people, and we became fast friends with him. Nick's here. Nick, are you?
You're doing the heavy lifting, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Nick, good to see you, man. We were just talking about
Same
Winnebago,
here.
man. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. He was like, we thought he would be dead by now, but he was alive and well.
Surprisingly, we thought ulcer, heart attack, something like that. Anyway, so Ben Steinbauer, we met him through that, and then so Nick and I had been doing Found Footage Festival for a long time. Thanks to you, Chris. A big chunk of that is thanks to you. And we were on this West Coast tour, and we realized it was very easy to get on these morning news shows. Like we'd be in Sacramento, and we'd try to get on these morning news shows to promote Found Footage Festival. So we'd get on like Wake Up Sacramento, and we're like, this is so easy. All you have to do is send a press release and say you're going to do something, and they'll have you on. So after a while, after like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years of doing that, we got kind of tired of it because these morning news shows would forget you're coming. They would get your names wrong. We were like, who are we promoting this to? Like farmers? Who's up this early? Like 5 o'clock in the morning? Is anybody actually watching this? So we decided to make our own press release for a fake person just to see if it would work. And I was living in Milwaukee at the time, and my buddy Mark, who we all went to college together. We were there at college together. He and I were in Milwaukee, and he was unemployed at the time. And he was like, let's just do something. So I was like, here's this idea that Nick and I have had cooking. Let's do it. And so we did something called the Kenny Strasser Yo-Yo Extravaganza. So the idea was that we represented a yo-yo artist. We called ourselves Zim Zam Yo-Yos. We sent out a press release saying that we represented a guy who was a yo-yo master who traveled around the country to schools teaching kids about the environment with his yo-yo. And it was a slam goddamn dunk. Like it was like we got Mark got on 7 morning news shows, and he didn't know how to yo-yo either. He had no idea how to yo-yo.
Can't do it.
He's gonna be the yo-yo expert. And so then we did another one after that. Nick posed as a celebrity chef called Chef Keith. And the idea was that he was going to make leftovers, like really disgusting leftovers, and then offer them to the news anchors to see if they would actually eat them.
My signature dish was called turbo gravy, and it was all your leftovers put into a blender with like skim milk and chicken, and then made into a smoothie, and the anchors were trying all this stuff. And so we just, like a few years ago, we just decided, well, what's left? What can we do? And we decided to just get as outrageous as possible and pitched ourselves as strongmen. And
I don't know if you can see or not, but I'm not strong. I'm not. I'm doughy.
Is it coming through?
Yeah.
And we said all these outrageous things in the press release. We said we had won Americans Got Talent. We always put stuff in so if you did your homework, you could ferret out that this was not real. But nobody did even a second of research, and so we got booked on a dozen stations that wanted this strongman duo called Chop and Steele. And then at one point, one of the news stations, their parent company, didn't find it that funny, and that's when we were served papers and said we were being sued in federal court.
And that was the moment that we called up Ben, because we knew Ben from Winnebago. Ben, it's like, hey, we're getting sued right now. And around the same time, we got a lot of press out of that. That's the upside of getting sued, is that you do get a lot of press. And we got asked to be on America's Got Talent after that happened. And we had this idea for...
Ironically, we said we had won. We had never had no aspirations. And then they said, hey, you guys are getting so much attention for this lawsuit. You actually want to come on our show? So yeah,
it all came full circle. So we're like, yes, we'll go on the show. And then I had this dumb idea for once we got on there. And so I called up Ben immediately. I was like, can you make a documentary about at least this trip to America's Got Talent? And then also we're getting sued in federal court. He's like, I'll be right there. And he came with the camera, and now we have the documentary. So
has Film Threat ever been sued? Have you guys ever?
We've been threatened. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been threatened to be sued, and I don't know. It's people that I usually just say go away, or they didn't like a review. I don't know.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh really? Yeah. Ask Alan.
Oh yeah.
He gets the brunt of it. Because Alan's the editor of the website.
I don't think anyone's threatened to sue us, but we certainly get I get emails about reviews all the time, and you know, I haggled over a guy because I said it was over 2 hours long and it was under 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Felt like it was over 2 hours. Hey, there's over 500 people watching us live on YouTube right now.
Oh,
a lot of
sweet.
people in the chat have questions and comments for you both. So would you mind taking some questions from the audience?
Bring them on.
Is it mostly about my internet? Is that the issue?
A lot of comments about your internet.
Sucks. Oh, and by the way, I forgot. I actually have Cathode fucking TV Sphincter digital. I can email it to you later today.
Dude, Nick, did you hear any of that about his
I didn't.
early mixtape? Chris is like a pioneer. Chris is a pioneer of the. Yeah.
All right, I'll email it to you. I'll email it to all you guys.
Let's re-release it on Found Footage Festival's banner. Let's do it. Can we?
Yeah. Do you want to release it?
Yeah, I want to release it.
All right. We just made a deal right now. Yeah, but like, look it up. It legit. If you look up Cathode fucking TV Sphincter, people have written articles about these mixtapes. It has its own IMDb, listing, which I had nothing to do with. Other people have released it on DVD, which I had nothing to do with. But it was a mixtape I made in the early '80s, based on stuff because I used to work at a video store and get industrial films. I have a McDonald's training film on Courtesy. It's hysterical. Ooh. It's all local stuff from Detroit. And it's it's definitely a found footage thing. But some of the stuff on it is kind of disturbing. I had one tape, TV Sphincter, I call it the room clearer. And I used to have parties at my old, I had a loft space in downtown. No, I'm serious. I had a loft space in downtown Detroit. I would have parties and people over. And at some point, it's like, it's getting late. You guys should go. I would put on this tape and everyone was so disgusted, they would leave. So I called that one the room clear. So
can we hear what it was? Like, do you want to talk about it, or is it something we should experience for ourselves? I'm fine experiencing it for myself if you don't want to.
You might want to experience it for yourself.
Okay.
It's basically the opening of the video is I had taken like a pan that you would roast a ham in. And I cut a hole in the bottom of it and I put something clear on there, whatever. And I filmed myself taking a shit on so it's the point of view. And I put the camera there and that was the opening of TV Sphincter.
Wait, but it was your.
I took it. Yes, I did.
Your anus.
Shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So you're credited on the IMDb as being an actor in that then?
Well, I mean, I've talked about it before, but and then it was just like TV Sphincter is just gross shit. It's just all weird, gross stuff. Cathode fuck is more punk rock stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to you guys. I mean, it's out there. And it's weird that people
be arrested.
Articles.
I feel like I should call the police right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well,
we've built up a high tolerance for gross shit and really out there stuff too. So I think we're the target audience for this.
I'll tell you that
we did
it's just been such an honor to talk to you guys from having seen the doc, knowing about found footage, and just I didn't know about your friendship, and just everything about I love it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we would get along quite well.
Oh, 100%.
We are right now.
Yeah, totally. No, I remember we chatted one time in the lobby of a theater. It was very brief. I think it was in LA.
Oh,
and
wow.
And we just got on a subject and we could talk for hours. So
yeah, I don't know if you covered this joke. I'm on a 14.4 modem, but we used to subscribe to the black and white editions of Film Threat magazine. I still think I have old issues.
I worked at the Onion. I worked at the Onion in the 90s, when I was 18, when it was back in Madison, and everybody would bring in copies of Film Threat, and that's where I learned about it when I was working at the Onion. And then I would always go to, I think I got it at Borders. I think because I delivered the Onion too, so I would drop off papers at Borders. I'd pick up the old black and white. Didn't Dan Weber work for Film Threat?
Dan Weber worked for me. He used to write for the Onion.
He was one of the editors.
Out to LA, and then I hired him on a video game magazine, which I was editing, and then also on Film Threat. He was great. I mean, he went on to become a writer at Futurama.
He's hilarious. He's fantastic.
Oh, Dan is great. Yeah.
And he got to start at the Onion and Film Threat. I mean, that's where he started his career. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler than that.
Yeah, a lot of people start their career at Film Threat. I can't tell you how many people at Film Threat, and then they go on and go to better jobs where they get paid. So there you go.
We saw
um,
Carlos Ramos. Is that his name? Carlos
yeah.
Ramos at the Chop and Steele screening in LA recently, and he's the one who wrote the article about found footage, like in 2004, 2005, or something.
Wow.
And we reminisced. Yeah,
That was when Eric Campos was the editor of the site.
yes.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. A lot of people in the chat. They're talking. Let me just go to their comments. Imperfect says, "This is the humor the world needs." Graham Robbins, this shit is so punk rock. I love it. Reminds me of my youth.
Yeah.
Geek Truth 64. My question between Joe and Nick: who would be Tucker and who would be Dale if they fought evil?
Ooh.
You
I don't know
familiar with that movie, Tucker and Dale?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar. Yeah. See,
I
we're not-
think I feel like I look more like Alan Tudyk, I think. So I would be, which one is he? Tucker, I think.
Yeah,
I think I would be him. Yeah.
you would be Tucker.
I'll be
All
Dale.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know it. Like
Okay.
we're not like. I mean, we love movies, but like we mostly know McDonald's training videos more than anything. So
Yeah.
Tucker, Dale, I'll add that to my list.
Phone Punk says there is a lot of authenticity in these found footage films. Most video content is extremely fake. Holy crap, these guys are based, says Alex Gray.
Wait, what's based?
Solomon, based is like common sense, just like regular person.
Yes. Okay.
Not like,
Okay.
just like a regular, like normie.
There we
I think
go.
it's a compliment.
Yeah.
Solomon
Thank
when
you.
I think of found footage, I think of the Blair Witch Project. Also, have you guys heard of the back room that were shown on YouTube? Have you heard
Do
of
you
that?
know the back room? I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I will
No.
say that we started our show in 2004 and been collecting via VHS tapes, special interest tapes, since like 1991. And so when we called our show the Found Footage Festival, it just seemed like, because we found this footage at Goodwill's, and then found footage became a genre after Blair Witch and all that. And so we didn't think of that when we called our show what we called
We
it.
want to change our name so bad, but we're like 19 years into this, so we're like, we got to kind of keep it, I guess. And also the festival thing, it's a 90-minute show. It's a 90-minute live show. It's not like a weekend festival. We just chose festival because it has an F in it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Let's
the
see.
documentary spells out that we're not very good business people. I think it does a good job of that.
Let's see. Just watch the Chop and Steele trailer. You guys are hilarious.
Thank you.
You gotta watch the
Tactical
movie.
Jack.
I think it's on sale on Vudu right now.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
can rent it, I know too. So you don't have to buy it anymore. You can just rent it if you want.
I saw that documentary is really good. The Angry Winnebago Salesman says Bad
Yes,
Adam
Jack
Crow.
Rodney.
Yes,
Yes.
Winnebago Man was amazing, says Mr. Echo. And what are the legal rights challenges with found footage films, says the Introspect M.
Or I wonder if they're asking about copyright as far as like playing it.
What are any legal challenges?
Well, we've never had them. The only lawsuit we had was from when we were doing these morning news shows, and we never even got threatened before. And everybody that we ever find who makes these videos, after we've been playing them, they're usually ecstatic. They're like, "Oh, this is why I made the video, is so that people could see it." But as far as like fair use goes, everything's under fair use. As long as you take something and you make it transformative into something else, then and you provide commentary or it's a review or something like that, then you can play it. And so we
I
have
should
a copyright
clarify
attorney.
too. I should clarify that none of these are films. They're all VHS tapes, mostly that like would come with a beard trimmer that your dad bought in the 80s, or like it was shrink wrapped in. It would say, "Here's how to use your new wall beard trimmer." That's the genre we're doing. It's not films at all.
We're 100% VHS. Yeah. We have an office
tapes and
we have an
like
office
that.
in Brooklyn with 11,000 VHS tapes, and that's what we're picking through. Yeah.
It just reminds me of the Red Letter Media when they do that show, The Best of the Worst, or they have like the wheel. They spin the wheel, and they're like, "There's VHS tapes." I love that Red Letter Media show.
Yeah,
it's so good.
There was Wisconsin guys too. Nick and I are both Wisconsin guys, and those guys are all Wisconsin guys. We've never met them before.
Why have you not like been on their show? It seems like an obvious match.
Introduce us. I don't know. I feel like we never remember like everything is terrible on us. Like we had a big beef like in like 2007. We like hated each other for the longest time, and then we did a versus show, and we're like, oh wait, they're cool dudes, and then we all hit it off, and we're all friends now. I think that when there's like only like 4 entities doing this, we all kind of are hesitant around each other. We're sniffing each other's butts for a little while. And we're like,
Right.
oh wait, yeah. And then we realize, oh, they're cool. So I think that's how it is with Red. We're not like butting heads with Red Letter Media. It's just like we haven't reached out and they haven't reached out.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean,
but we should.
Yeah, you should be a good match. But also, there's a found footage movie. Have you heard of this documentary called Life on the Farm?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
We produced it. Yeah. Did you know?
Okay. I'm so stupid. Okay, Life on the Farm. Okay, you guys produced it because you found. That's right. You're in the doc.
Yeah. Everything is terrible's in
I
it too.
contributed to the Kickstarter. I contributed to the
Oh,
Kickstarter.
thank you.
Yes,
what a
and I got my
guy.
movie.
My man.
Dude,
Yes. Oh, sweet.
I contribute to Kickstarters of movies like it's like I don't care how long. That was it was like less than a year and you had the movie done.
Those guys are efficient. Like when we met these guys, it was in Milwaukee, and this dude was a British dude came up to us in Milwaukee. He snuck into the green room before we were about to go on stage, and he showed us this video, and our jaws hit the floor, and we're like, this is incredible. And he interviewed us for it. And then maybe, I don't know, 3 months later, he sent a trailer, and we're like, oh, we want on board. Do you need money for this? Because we'll put up some money. We don't have a lot of money, but we'll find money for this documentary. And then that's when we started the Kickstarter around then. And these guys are just like, they're machines. This is their first film, and they're super excited and super efficient. These guys are whip smart, and they made a fantastic goddamn movie, Life on the Farm.
It got a great review on Film Threat too.
So. Oh, did it? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen it, they should watch or read the review. But it's the trailer's online too, and it's about the weirdest home movie we've ever seen. The filmmaker's grandfather passed away, and he inherited a lot of his things, and one of them was a videotape that his eccentric neighbor, this guy named Charles Carson, gave him in the 80s, and it was just this man's video he would make around his farm with his animals, with his elderly parents, and
he was a farmer.
He was
a farmer who learned how to
filmmake.
Yeah, he was a farmer who learned how to make films and edit. And farmers have a very different outlook on life and death than I think the rest of us do. They're a little bit more pragmatic when it comes to, or maybe more, I don't know. They're not as like phased by it or grossed out by a cow placenta, maybe. So
you're really selling the movie here.
There's
cow placenta.
Oh my God, I love that doc.
Yeah.
I love that doc. So many more comments here. I'll get through as many as we can. Geek Truth 64 looks like there is some physical media on the way to Chop and Steele in July.
Woohoo! Yes.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, DVD, and then God's Perfect Format VHS.
Yes, there you go. Oh my God, the comments are crazy here. The trailer was great. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Documentary is so fantastic.
Oh, there's a Pickett. Thomas Pickett. Yes.
Cool.
Last name.
Zodlander, you got Howie in the trailer. You got AGT Howie in the trailer. Brandon Anderson, I'm going to rent this doc, and Chris's doc tonight should be a good Friday. Matthew Hammond for $4.99. Have they considered starting a TV series like American Pickers, searching for found footage video? Can we have them on more often? You guys got to come back.
100%. This is
would
fun.
love to.
When you started talking about shitting videos, Chris, like I had a shitting video story ready to go, and I had to stop myself. So I feel like we have a lot of stuff that we can cover in the future. So
all right, yeah,
for next time.
Yeah.
We have considered an American Pickers style show. We were developing one for a while, and it didn't go through. But I think it would be fun because that's a lot of what we are. Is like going to Alaska, and we'll find like a thrift store there, and we'll go dig through it and end up finding all these crazy, like an Alaskan exercise video, and wanting to know the stories behind them.
There's so much VHS out there right now.
Do you guys have a website? Brandon Anderson asked, can we get a link to these guys' content and doc in the description? Do you have like you could put in the private chat, like, do you have a website people can go to? We'll put it in the link.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, here you go.
You got a nationwide tour starting in Washington and then immediately to Pennsylvania. So
Are you coming to the Los Angeles area at all?
Oh, definitely.
We'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on volume 10 right now. So foundfootagefest.com will get you all that stuff. We're booking the new tour for the fall right now, and Yeah. We also, Driver 23, Film Threat just reviewed Driver 23, documentary from the year 2000 that was just lost. And I reached out to the filmmaker and I was like, you got to put this out again. This movie's so good. So we re-released Driver 23, a documentary that I call the American movie of rock documentaries. Like it's the rock documentary. You've seen Driver 23, I assume. It's
yeah, that was a very weird documentary.
I haven't, but I've seen American movie.
Oh, American Movie is my number one favorite of all time. But Driver 23 is from around the same era, and it's this guy, like he's a delivery driver by day and a heavy metal guy by night, and he's trying to make a CD. It's fantastic. And we just screened it at Nighthawk in Brooklyn on 35 millimeter, and we put out a Blu-ray under Found Footage Festival banner. So look that one up. So we're touring that right now. It's going to be in Seattle.
It's great.
I mean, that one is the footage you have for that documentary is amazing.
Did you do the review on that one?
I didn't do the review, but a rock guy loved it.
There's like these oddities. We're trying to branch out. So there's like these odd films. Like there's one from 1989 called Creating Rem Lazar. That was this crazy children's musical that we found in Denver at a friend of ours found on VHS. And we got obsessed with this children's musical. And so we contacted the filmmaker. We're like, let's put it out on Blu-ray and put it in theaters again. And so VHS. That's another one. And VHS, of course. So that's another like this crazy like slip through the cracks of time and physical media.
We're trying to resurrect some of these. Yeah, we want to resurrect some of these movies that are completely lost, and like people need to see this stuff.
Well, if you could put the link in the description, Alan, that would be great.
Yeah. There
the nerd far away, we'd get out the camcorder and then just stand there, not moving. Lol. GTP RX says, you were both great on Daniel Tosh show. It was great.
Yeah, that was a weird one. They wanted us to come on as like Chop and Steele in character, and we were like, wait a second. We're just like, which we were like, normally we do the character if they don't know that we're a fake thing, but we made
that's
an
the fun part.
That one.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see more comments. Lubitch Touched Me says, is that a collection of tabletop games? If so, what are your top 3 in the background?
Yes, it is. I'm actually over at my buddy Tom's place right now. And yes, we're all big board gamers. My number one favorite is probably Seven Wonders. Nick, what do you got? You got your top 3 handy?
Yeah.
Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep.
That's a good one. I like Scythe. I like Viticulture. And in Chop and Steele, you get to see I made my own board game called Dream Crush.
Nice.
That you can find at game stores and dreamcrushgame.com. It's like a throwback to, we were finding these games at thrift stores and like those old 90s slumber party games like Dream Phone. And it's a modern version of that for adults.
Oh, I love it.
My third one would be Skull King. Skull King's my number 3.
Oh yeah,
they should do a film about the old driver's eds videos, says the Introspect M. Those are amazing. The one I saw when I was a kid, I've never not worn a seatbelt because I saw this movie when I was like 15. And it's, because there's all those ones that are like gross, right? That just get over the top kind of gore.
Yeah.
This one was I remember because I watched this in Michigan. It was a CHP officer, California guy who like, just all he did, it's him in a classroom at a chalkboard, and all he does is tell stories of things he's seen. It's so compelling and it's horrifying, and it's just stories. The one story he told, he came upon an accident. Woman wasn't wearing her seatbelt. She was thrown from her vehicle. Her legs were over here. Her body was here. She was still alive, and she was taking her intestines and trying to put them back inside her body, saying, will you please help me? Will you please help me? And then she just passed away. I've never forgotten this story. Saw this movie when I was 15, but walked out of that shell shocked. Always I've never not worn my seatbelt. I feel awkward in a car without a seatbelt.
And your intestines are intact. So thank you.
I'm good. I'm good. But
that would be a good film. Yeah, we found some modern versions on VHS by a company called Federated Mutual. But it's all like on the job accident reenactments. I think like the old driver's ed films were actual. Yeah, like they were actual snuff films back in the day. Now they're
Red Asphalt. That was the one I saw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one that most people saw. But I saw this one, and it was just, no one else has seen it. No one else has seen that. It was just a guy talking for like 50 minutes. It's weird.
Is there like cutaways to like the kids like horrified in the classroom,
No,
or is it just a guy
he
just
just
standing
talked.
there? He's probably
He
like
just
smoking a
tells-
cigarette too. Yeah.
The stories are horrifying because your imagination fills in details. But the nerd far away asks, question for Joe and Nick: have you seen the AI movie previews done in the style of Wes Anderson? Thoughts? Have you seen those? Like, it's like they're AI where they're like Wes Anderson's Star Wars, and it's
right.
Like, I actually have a whole list. I created a playlist on my personal YouTube where it's just all of those. There's like 50 of them. I keep adding to that list. They're great. I love them.
I think those are cool. And I think that the thing about AI that I always think too is like, I think as that becomes better and better, people are going to clamor more and more for actual, somebody mentioned in a comment, but the authentic stuff that you can just tell, you know, there's still an uncanny valley, but like, that's why I feel like the really like messed up old VHS stuff where people had terrible ideas and it wasn't perfect and polished, I think people will clamor for the authenticity of that more and more as AI blurs the lines of, you know, what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but like I'm kind of not that interested. I just feel like it's kind of a parlor trick right now. You know, I don't know. I'll watch them, but like, you know, it doesn't do it for me.
Thomas Pickett for 2 says, ask about the birthing video by a highway patrol.
Oh, have you seen Sudden Birth before?
I haven't.
Oh,
I have not.
Today's the day. You're gonna be a changed man. You guys are
Oh
both.
no! Oh no!
Oh,
really?
you gotta watch Sudden Birth. So
is it on YouTube?
I'm sure it is. It probably is.
My
You
God.
can probably find it somewhere, or archive.org or something. We'll probably have it.
Okay, we got to exchange an email, like, or maybe put your email in the private chat. I'll send you. I'll send you Cathode fucking TV Sphincter.
Yes.
I'll send you. I actually think you would really like. There's a documentary I've been working on for 10 years. I'm trying to finish. It's about Film Threat. It's called Film Threat Sucks. And it's about Film Threat in the 80s and 90s, the rise and fall of the print magazine. And how print went,
you talk to Dan Weber.
Yeah, like I know I gotta get it. Almost everyone's we interviewed everyone from the 90s.
Yeah.
Dan's not in the doc, unfortunately. But
Okay.
but a lot of people
are edit it.
No, it's we have a cut. It's like 90 minutes.
You do? I want to see this.
Would you guys give me notes if I said, because we're trying to
absolutely
we're gonna submit the Sundance in September, but I'm trying to get it locked, and I want people to see it who've never seen it.
Yes,
you know,
send it.
Like,
send it.
Okay. We have a lot. I'll send you guys a lot of stuff after this. Let's get emails in the private chat. Emails. Another super chat here. Guys, we've had 3 ads during the live stream today. Wanted to let you all know. Love the channel. Thank you for your great work. Greatly appreciated. From Brandon Anderson. 5. 3 ads? Are we doing mid ads
in the live stream? Is that what they're saying?
Is it 3 ads during the? Well, usually there's an ad at the beginning or the end, but like, hey, if it's annoying,
the replays are usually ads.
But the replays they add ads. Hey, I'm sorry, Brandon. I don't know if the ads are annoying. Let me know. All I can say is this: I'm sick of the ads on the Film Threat website. They annoy me. And it's I own the website and it annoys me.
I know. Yeah. Like, we're always torn with that. We're like with found footage, and we do a show on Tuesday nights called VCR Party, where we're trying to watch all 11,000 of our VHS tapes. But we're always just like, oh, should we get advertising? Like, should we do that, or should we just like be broke all the time? So far, we've just been broke all the time, just because it's so annoying to watch that stuff, and we hate it too. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you got to pay the bills still, but you know.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
But guys, the documentary is fantastic. Everyone watching, almost 500 people right now, you need to rent or purchase Chop and Steele this weekend. Trust me, it's before you guys came on, we were having a whole rant conversation about running times.
Yeah.
Like movies north of 2 hours. What is this with Hollywood? Little Mermaid is 2 hours and 15 minutes. It doesn't need a movie for little kids. Little kids are getting bored and antsy at about the 90-minute mark. It's just Hollywood doesn't know how to make a movie that's just under 2 hours.
I will watch a pile of shit movie if it's 72 minutes. I don't care what the title is. Yeah. I don't care what the movie's about. I see 72 minutes, done. I'm watching it.
Chop and Steele is under 90, and Life on the Farm is like 75, I think. So those are you can watch both of those back to back as a double bill tonight if you want.
You would think that, and I just released a documentary called Attack of the Doc. I don't know if you ever remember G4 TV or Attack of the Show.
Yes, I heard about this documentary. I didn't know that you.
We were on Attack of the Show.
I was on the show, so
yeah.
You were on the show, like as a host on the show?
I was I was on the show. I did a segment called DVD Tuesday, which was reviews of movies on DVD. And I would always I'd have to review like the latest Transformers movie, fine. But I would always sneak in like Poultrygeist from Troma or something. You know what I mean? Like I would sneak in like indie movies and weird stuff. So I was on that show for like 8 years. And so, and I made a documentary about the show. And I'll send you the trailer if you like it.
Somebody else just told me about that movie a few weeks ago. Yeah, I had no idea that it was you.
I made it.
Oh, I didn't know either. I remember you on that show, Chris, and we were on that show once too. I remember we were playing some home shopping footage that I believe Kevin really liked, John and Johnny.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were on that particular thing. Maybe it was a pre-taped thing, but yeah, we were in the studio and we're on that once. And yeah, I used to watch it all the time. And when I was searching for Chop and Steele and Life on the Farm, which they came out I think 2 weeks ago on like Apple and everything, and I was going through the carousel of what's new, and I saw Attack the Doc on there right next to Chop and Steele. So I guess it came out on the same day or something. But
yeah, April 24th is when I think it came out on VOD. So
yeah, same.
That's great. Wow.
Oh, nice. We're doc pals.
We're doc pals. And I kickstarted the Life on the Farm. I mean, I love that stuff. And I always forget like it's like, it'll be 3-4 years from now, because documentaries can take a long time.
Oh, but, you never know where they're going. That's the thing. With Chop and Steele, we had no idea how this was going to end. You know, like when the pandemic happened, we're like, what? I guess this movie's like dead in the water. But
it's cool because you kept filming through the pandemic stuff, so it was great.
Yeah.
Oh God, I
did a great job. Yeah.
Great. Hey, I guess. Well, we have more questions in the chat. I think we went through all the questions for you guys. So we'll wrap up for today.
Sweet.
I got your emails. Expect an email from me after. I'm going to send you a link. I'll send you. I mean, I think it's like just over a gig. So whatever, I'll have to upload to Google Drive or whatever. Cathode fucking TV sphincter. I'll send it to you, Alan, too.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
And when you guys are in LA, definitely be out there.
And then
nice.
Are you going to have an LA show or maybe San Diego or sometime here? Like,
yeah, we play in Highland Park. We play at the Lodge Room. This cool old, like, I think it was a Masonic lodge, and
Elks Lodge or something. Yeah, it's like
Elks Lodge. It's really fun. Yeah, we usually play like rock clubs. Sometimes we'll play movie theaters or like Largo in LA. So yeah, we'll be back probably September, October.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll have to get on. Do you have an email? I'm sure you have an email list on your website.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can subscribe.
Yeah.
There.
What's the website, Alan? You found it?
It's I had it here. It's foundfootagefest.com.
Yep.
Foundfootagefest.com. All right. I'm going to go to it. Gentlemen, God, well, I could keep going, but
I know.
I mean, I was ready to pounce on the. You gave me the opening for the shit story on video, and I was ready to pounce on that. Let's save it for another day. We have.
Let's save it for another day.
Yeah,
we'll have you guys back. Oh, okay. When the Found Footage Festival comes to LA, come on the show before that to promote it.
Yes.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So, and you'll have my email after this.
It will just, we'll deal directly with you, and the publicist be damned. There we go.
Yeah. And audience, you'll have to wait for the shitting story. We're teasing it. There's a great shitting.
My God.
Story, but you're gonna have to wait till the fall. So
we got in trouble for playing a shitting video one time. So we'll tell that next time.
Please tell that story.
It showed the poop coming out and everything.
Oh my God.
Just more of a teaser here.
This has been such a great, more like a hanging out. Like, I feel like the only thing missing is a couple of beers. So,
I've been drinking beer this whole time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Hey, so Great. We have no more comments in the chat. No. Okay.
Sweet.
Yes. Wait. Cody Lipschitz for $9.99 just sends in a super chat.
I hope that's his real last name too.
Yeah, I hope it is as well. And thank you to our mod today, Lord Thoth. Good job. Thank you to Ms. P Coffee. And thank you to you guys. Foundfootagefest.com is the website. We could show like I'll just show you in a self-indulgent way some of the dumb videos that we play on the show. Not good enough for like Found Footage Fest, but just like this is real. We asked a guy who's a fan of the show, asked AI to write a rap song using keywords, and this is what they came up with.
Okay.
Chris and Alan, they're critics you can't trust. With honesty like 69, they never adjust. Their opinions are like bullets, they always go bang. Their words hit like a hammer, leaving haters like Kane.
Oh, AI wrote that?
AI wrote it and performed it based on keywords.
Honestly, not terrible. Not terrible.
That's what I thought.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should stop shitting on AI. Maybe I should come around to it. I don't know.
But here's an example. Like a few weeks ago, we found a fan club video from Jason Hervey, who played Wayne on the Wonder Years, the older brother, and was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and had a cameo in Monster Squad and everything.
Character actors through the 80s.
Always played a brat. And so he did a video for fans that you could send away from. And in the video, he and who else? Ryan Lambert, another child actor he was friends with, do a rap that is so off tempo, so wonderfully terrible.
Yeah.
And this is in 1988.
But
AI
earnest
and
earnest too. Yeah.
Yes. So AI will never be able to duplicate that level of terrible earnestness of Jason Hervey and Ryan Lambert sincerely believing they could be rappers.
Oh my God.
Hi, Dad, I miss you.
That's Alan's daughter. She's in Vegas right now. She's in Vegas. I gotta say, this sounds weird, but I'm a little disappointed to learn that you are friends with and get along with the people from Everything is Terrible, because it would make such a great documentary of all these rival groups who hate each other. And they just, and other, like your found footage and Everything is just those guys.
Oh, there's all this drama. There used to be drama with that. Like I should have filmed it back then, because they would talk shit about us at their live shows. They'd be like, they'd be like, and if you like Found Footage Festival, we're gonna stab you or something like that. I remember like seeing a video where they like threaten the audience, if you like Found Footage, if they like us. Found Footage Festival, they're gonna stab them. And then we started hating them, and then like we had this, and then somebody said like, oh, let's set up this like versus show. It was somewhere in Washington DC, and we were gonna show our clips, and then they'd show their clips, and then the audience would vote, and for whatever it's worth, we destroyed them, but we became pals after that. We realized, oh wait, these are cool dudes, they like cool shit too, and then like it was just like with us right now, like we just talked all night long. We had so much to talk about. So
I think in any sort of nerd subculture, whether it's films or I don't know, board games or whatever, there's all this weird gatekeeping, and then everybody realizes we all just like the same stuff. I mean, we should be friends.
No, we're all like cats. We're all like cats, kind of hissing at each other and like swatting at each other. Like, we're a bunch of cats.
But we all like the same stuff.
It's so weird, but like I was in a rivalry with Mike White, who did he did a zine around the same time as Film Threat called Cashier Du Cinemart. Then he created the Projection Booth, which is a great podcast. We finally met, and it was just like, God, we just like the same stuff. We're like, and so we just became fast friends. Whenever I go to Detroit, we hang out, and it's just like, why did we not like each other then?
We got to sniff each other's butts. That's what it is. And
it doesn't make any sense.
I'm making dog references and cat references. So we gotta.
Cody Lipschitz is back. Real last name 999 says, "What's the deal with the Schwarzenegger Rio video?"
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's
Nick,
a video that. Yeah, I found that. I was working at the Letterman show, and I found that one, and we play it on the show when he was running for governor. And it's this video he did, I guess, for the Playboy channel in the early 80s. And he was just Mr. Olympia or whatever he was at the time, Mr. Universe. He wasn't in Terminator yet. So they sent him over to Rio during Carnival and hired like what looks to be a Brazilian escort for him, and just said, "Go nuts." And boy, does he! He is grabbing everything.
He's very grabby.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and this was all out there, and it didn't affect him being elected twice as governor at all. But yeah, so it's a video where he seductively feeds a woman a carrot at one point. So we have it on VHS. It was a regular on our first tour.
I think it was at our Volume 1 tour when we did the California tour. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, look that one up. So, it's a classic.
Yeah, I feel like we could hang out all day and chat, but I'm sure you have board games to get to.
I just ran out of beer. I got to get more beer. Yeah,
you got to get more beer.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, definitely, we want to come back.
So you're going to be back to promote the Found Footage Festival
this
like
fall.
in a couple months, like, or whatever's a good time. You'll have my email after this. Just please come back. We'll promote that.
Hey, we can bring some clips. We could bring some clips too. We could bring some clips.
Oh!
We just scored. Have you ever seen that dating video with all the dudes? It was like from I think like '87. They all have like this pink background, and they're trying to like woo potential mates in this like.
No,
put it out like
dating services, right?
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the video dating service. I tracked down the guy who created that, and he told me I have the women's version of it where women are trying to. He sent it to me last week on Betamax, and it's so good, and it hasn't seen the light of day yet. So we're going to feature that. Maybe we'll bring that on this fall, and we can play it on this.
Yeah, we can play clips.
Yeah,
if you send us videos, or we can share screen or whatever, we can play clips to promote the festival.
Oh, that'd be an exclusive. Yeah. That would be huge.
Yes.
Like,
okay. Yeah. You guys are coming back.
All right.
We're gonna
be rolling in that comedy money.
Yeah, exactly.
It should get here any day.
The shows always sell out, right? I mean, for the most part, they sell out completely.
Yeah, it depends on where we play. We used to play too many shows, and those wouldn't always like Sioux Falls. Where's Sioux Falls? Iowa,
South Dakota.
Yeah, that one wouldn't always sell out, but we'd get like 14 cool people there. But yes, the LA ones will sell out. New York ones sell out. Yeah, all the big cities. Chicago always sells out. Yeah.
Well, we did a 50-state tour, and we learned that there's probably 13 states we don't need to tour in. You know, we could just hit the major ones. Yeah.
They don't teach you that in school, so you got to learn that for yourself.
Yeah. But gentlemen, thank you for being on the show.
Thank
today.
you, Chris. Thank you, Alan. Yeah,
this is great.
Super
you
fun.
will be back. Look for an email from me later this afternoon.
Can't wait.
I cannot wait.
Right.
You might find some gems in Cathode Fuck, the McDonald's training film.
That alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we got some business done here this afternoon.
Yeah, look at this. We interview, we talk business. We're gonna have you back. Shit stories. We really have like gone through the gamut.
We ticked so many boxes this afternoon.
Oh my God!
We'll be millionaires next year. That's
one of these days.
Come on.
The ship's gonna come in. Yeah,
any second.
But thank you for being on the show. Right. This is great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Joe, Nick,
guys.
So great.
Thanks,
We're friends now. We're
friends. Yes.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yahoo.
Hey guys.
Awesome. Take care. Take care. And Alan, do we have any? What do we have coming up? We have a lot of
we still have movies to review. People have been mentioning in the comments that we don't pivot to enough movie reviews.
All right, here let's get through these chats. We're gonna do reviews of other films. Andre Medelsky for 50 something. I'm so sorry. Hey guys, on my way to see Evil Dead Rising for the second time. Love the movie. What did you think about it? Have fun, fellas. I really enjoyed it. It's did not expect to enjoy it. I was a little put off by the fact that like, where's Bruce Campbell? But Bruce Campbell does have a cameo in it, so to speak. You'll if you listen carefully, you'll hear Bruce Campbell in the film. You're going to have a great time for the second time.
By the way, that's Czech Karuna.
Czech Karuna. Thank you for that, Andres. Thank you. Alan Horkin. Chris complains about runtimes, but will defend the overly long and badly paced Star Trek: The Slow Motion Picture. Watch the director's cut. The director's cut is tighter. They cut stuff out. They added new scenes in. The director's edition of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I will defend. Tony G, a shorter movie has a better rewatch value. The Nerd Far Away, I find it contradictory that Hollywood makes long movies for no good reason, but people have shorter attention spans thanks to pervasive ads everywhere. Womp Biscuit says, everything I learned 15 plus years ago about screenwriting proved wrong. Don't write long scripts, yet movies are 3 hours long. Don't have lots of voiceovers, show it on screen, yet movies have tons of it. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe that's it. The 3-hour movie, you get more ads in them.
Yeah. Sean Cosgrove, who's a member, says it was better when movies were shorter and DVD features showed deleted scenes. Make movies 90 minutes again, says Imperfect. Greasy Guido, even with good movies, my friends and I struggled to get through John Wick 4, even though we loved it. Yeah. Could have been 2 hours. I hate to say it, but the running time didn't bother me for that film. Yep. How is a kid going to watch a 2 hour plus movie, says Alex?
Even if it's great, even if it's a great movie,
even if it's a great movie, the attention span of kids is just not. Little Mermaid, it's going to kill Little Mermaid. Bush and Ryu Cat. Chris, have you ever reviewed a home release of a theatrical movie you loved? Yes, I used to do it all the time on Attack of the Show, but not here. Would love your take on upcoming 4K Blu-ray for Avatar: Way of Water. How about you, Alan? I have the digital version of Avatar: Way of Water, so there you go.
It's just too long. It's too long for me.
All right.
Bush and RRR is too long. It's the repeat value.
I used to be on the lists and get like DVDs for review, not after Attack of the Show ended. Chris, would you review Swords of an Honorable Ruler, Inuyasha? It's a great story with fun characters, says Makara Neal. Is it out on VOD? Alan, can you look it up? Yeah, we do cover anime on the show when there's a big release that's in theaters. And here's what's amazing is a lot of anime is coming to theaters these days. Beerosaurus Rex, threat level 1, has been a member for 9 months. Thank you, Beerosaurus Rex, and says, are longer movies just about streaming minutes? I think that is possibly a reason. They don't care. The studios don't care about the theater. They don't seem to care about, it's all about streaming now and getting you hooked on streaming because the money goes directly to them. Did you find that movie?
Yeah, it's on Prime, iTunes, Vudu. It's on VOD, basically.
Oh, there you go. All right. I usually I like to see these in theaters, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, trying to see when it came out.
Cool.
Came out in 2003.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get to some of these other reviews real quick because it's out in theaters now. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I did see this one.
Let's talk about Kandahar with Gerard Butler. It's a story of an undercover guy played by Gerard Butler who helps forces overseas in America basically reveal the location of a nuclear base somewhere in the Middle East, which is then targeted and destroyed. It's revealed that he had something to do with this, and he has to get out of Dodge. The whole movie it's a chase film, and he's trying to escape from his location in the Middle East to get to safety in Kandahar. Gerard Butler of late has been doing these action movies where it's just sort of low budget, like an 80s, like an 80s action movie. I really liked Plane. I did not like Kandahar as much. I mean, look, I just told you the whole plot of the movie. He's this undercover guy. It's revealed who he is. He has something to do with this nuclear plant getting bombed, and he's just trying to get out of the country.
Honestly, you're missing a lot of the movie, though. Because this movie is not just about Gerard Butler, but it's about the guys going after him, and I think this movie really attempts to show all sides of this issue. Like my walk away from this was the Middle East is a big mess, and we had no business being there. and so it's like the nuclear plant is in Iran, so he's basically there to destroy the Iranian nuclear program, but he's in Afghanistan, and now he's hunted, and these Afghanis want to capture him and then sell him to the highest bidder. But then you have the Iranians who go after him, and so you find a lot of people who are on different sides of the issues, even in the Middle East. I like the idea, but I'm not sure that this movie executed.
This is the thing. It was not well executed. There are better Gerard Butler action movies, and it was like the first half of the movie is such a slog because there isn't an action scene.
Yeah,
there's this scene at the beginning where he's kind of hardwiring, and they get
confirmation basically that he's doing it for enough.
They get confirmation of this hidden nuclear plant that was built underground, and so once that's revealed and destroyed, like then it's like he's on the run, but it took way too long for the movie to get going for me. And there are better low budget Gerard Butler action movies. I recommend seeing Plane. I cannot recommend Kandahar. Sorry.
I'll say this. If the idea of looking at all sides of the issue interests you, this might be a movie worth going, but it's not your traditional thriller in any means.
Yeah, it didn't grab me in the way that Plane did, which is also Plane is also a simple premise.
Yeah.
A plane crash lands at a place where, of course, people could be taken hostage. Gerard Butler stars in all these movies now that just show you how effed up the rest of the world is. And
by the way,
how dangerous the world is.
All the Gerard Butler movies has him as a father of a daughter that he needs to see.
Yes, no, both of these have that in common. It's like he just wants to get home to see his daughter. Both Plane and Kandahar have that. It's like AI wrote the script. I was not as interested as you were, Alan. This movie didn't grab me. I know it's in theaters now, and just for some reason, Plane just worked. It was I think the premise is as simple as this is. But I guess the thing you could say about Kandahar, the thing that is a little different, is the fact that you kind of see it from the point of view of the other people that are involved, the quote bad guys. You see it at least from their side, but that didn't interest me. I don't care. I think they're all awful. So. Yeah,
again, that was the interesting part to me, was the other sides. Like his buddy in the film is a Afghani interpreter who fled to the United States because of the war, because of the Taliban, and now comes back. Interesting, but not exactly the best executed. Yeah. And Gerard Butler is the new
Liam Neeson. Taken to Afghanistan, says Davina Duckworth. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not. This is one you can pass, or if you're really interested, wait for streaming. And there you go. That's our review of Kandahar. Show what else? Did you see Master Gardener?
I did not see that. I did see The Machine last night, though.
You did see The Machine. Yeah. Let's talk about The Machine. Alan, what did you think of The Machine?
Let's put it this way. If you're not a fan of Bert Kreischer...
It's Bert Kreischer.
Bert again. So I revealed that I'm not a fan of Bert Kreischer. If you're not a fan of his, this movie is probably a pass. And, I felt like, let's put it this way. In the screening I went to, as the movie started, a fat guy in front of me stood up and took his shirt off.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole audience just applauded. I'm like, I don't, I suppose my understanding, I don't know anything about the backstory of this, but he tells a story of during his college days being hooked up with the Russian mafia. And this is kind of, what is it? 30 years later, he goes back and, like I said, I'm sure if you're a Bert Kreischer fan, you're going to like this movie.
First of all, I love Bert Kreischer.
Okay.
Bert Kreischer, he's got comedy specials on Netflix where he basically does the entire show shirtless.
Yes.
Bert Kreischer is hysterical. Apparently this story is a real story. The story, the movie.
Well, the story, it's the story in college is real. I seriously doubt this story is real.
Right. That's exactly right. So the story of him having this wild experience in college is real, but the concept is that his dad doesn't believe him. And then it kind of comes back. It comes back to quote, haunt him. Yeah. But by the way, I know Bert Kreischer. I've appeared on Bert Kreischer's podcast. I went to his house and recorded an episode. And the reason I know Bert Kreischer is because I was on a TV show called The X Show. It was my first experience being on television, was being on The X Show. I did a segment called The Gorey Details. And on The Gorey Details, I would review movies. And this was like in the late 90s. I look very different. In fact, I dug up a video. I found a video of me on The X Show. Should we show this video?
Yeah, sure.
Finish your review and this is a treat. This is a treat for everyone who stuck around. We did a long show today. The treat is I'm going to show a best of The Gorey Details. You're about to see it. And I don't know what to tell you about it. But I'm sorry, Alan, I interrupted your review.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put out there that I know Bert Kreischer, been on his podcast. We worked on The X Show together. He was this new host that they brought in. He was absolutely hysterical. And I'm a fan of his work, not just because I know him, because I've watched his comedy specials on Netflix. He just appeared on Joe Rogan. So check out Bert Kreischer. I'm a fan, not for everybody, maybe. He's super based, super funny guy, but also like a family guy. He lives in Los Angeles and talks a lot about like the challenges of trying to like raise kids in LA and in the entertainment business. And I really like. So yeah. I plan to see this movie. Yeah. So I'll see it for myself. But Alan, if you could continue with your review, and my apologies. But if you stick around, you're going to see a treat. Something that will. I have not looked at this video for over 20 years. I have not seen this video.
Yeah.
So a little found footage.
I'll just say I was a little bit lost in this story just because I don't know the guy. I don't know, I suppose there's a lot of inside stuff, but he does go to Russia, involved in the Russian mob, because he has to get a watch back. A lot of comedic violence, a lot of blood, a lot of basically comedy gore. I'll say it that way. And so I was not fully sold on it. I think some of the family stuff was good. Say what you will about Mark Hamill. He's good in this one, but again, there's a lot of baggage there as well. So Chris, go see it. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a better time than I did.
All right. Yeah. So what would you give it in terms of a number rating out of 10?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'd say a 5 or 6. It's good, but I don't know that I would watch it again. But maybe if I become a fan of his, like I said, I think the built-in fandom is his fans, and I think that's who it's going to appeal to. Yeah.
All right.
I've not seen it. But by the way, was the story about him getting his daughter arrested? Is that a true story, and then live streaming it?
I'm sure it is. Like I don't know about that story, but he tells stories about his kids, and they're really funny because they're just like really.
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, this movie, the kids are in it, not his real kids, but it's the idea is that the kids are finally fed up with him, and that he has gone to therapy to be a better father, basically, and he quits stand up while doing that, and that's kind of where the point of this movie is or starts.
Cool. All right. We went over 3 hours today, which is I'm trying to make up for the fact that I was late. I was late. We started the show late today. My apologies to everyone, but we did a longer show today. We had a great, fun interview. We're going to end the show. I have not seen this, so I don't even know what we're about to see. Hang on a second. Let's see. No, that's not what I want to show.
By the way, Jama Lama sent us a $1.99 super sticker.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Jama Lama. All right. I don't know what we're about to see. I just found this file. Give it a minute. Here we go. It is playing. Let me adjust the volume here. Okay. Give it a minute. But yeah, The X Show was my first professional television experience. So I don't know.
Gory details.
Bigger, longer, uncut. Am I bragging? No, this is the title for the new R-rated South Park movie. Yes, we finally get to hear Kyle, Stan, and Cartman say things like pig and mother. The story ironically revolves around a movie within the film that prompts the children in the town to begin to swear. This leads to protests by the parents, which then leads to America declaring war on Canada. Oh yeah, and it's a musical. The funny thing is, this crude cartoon may end up being one of the smartest films of the summer.
Eric, did you just say the F word?
Did he say the S word?
Young man, did you just say the Q word? We have to get you children off of foul language.
Tell him we'll have punch and pat. We're not gonna have punch and pie. My bill will come if they think we have punch and pat. Ooh. We've got to see this movie, dude.
South Park the movie is the most intelligent social satire since Animal Farm, and it stands among the best of the Monty Python films. It's a must-see. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could any movie be worse than Wild Wild West? Easy. It could be called Dudley Do-Right. Sorry, Tingle, you suck. No, I'm not a snob like most critics, so I'm willing to admit that, like cheap beer, bad burgers, and amateur porn, I like Adam Sandler movies. Director Rennie Harlan, who tortured us with crap like The Long Kiss Goodnight and the annoying pirate movie Cutthroat Island, delivers yet another turd. This time taking a dump in the ocean. Deep Blue Sea is about super intelligent killer sharks. Super intelligent killer sharks?
What's that?
I know guys working at 7-Eleven with better ideas for movies. One big problem the filmmakers kind of overlooked: the sharks look fake. Avoid the Deep Blue Sea like the corner crack whore. At its heart, it's a love story, so take your girl and a vomit bag. And I mean that as a compliment. Who cares? Rosie O'Donnell plays an ape in perhaps the role that will define her career. And frankly, if I had my choice in a perfect world, Rosie would be off that lame talk show and only play cartoon apes. The reason the acting is so good is that the cast act like real people instead of movie people. What I like about the success of this movie is that it's like a giant middle finger aimed right at the big movie studios. This movie succeeds without a star cast, computer effects, or a budget in the tens of millions. Definitely see the Blair Witch Project at night. This film will do for the woods what Jaws did for the ocean. There's no way I'm going camping anytime soon. How much did I like this movie? I'll show you.
Whoa!
What are you doing?
What does that tell you? This is one of the greatest films of all time.
Just thinking about your mouth.
He was thinking about her mouth. Her mouth. Yeah, right. Harrison, good one. I never have to see this movie again. Here's the scoop. Tom gets naked, but only shows the top of his crack. Nicole Kidman shows her boobs and butt, but no bush. Picture this. You have a 5-pound bag of sugar shoved down your throat while an inept nurse administers a gooey honey enema and Bruce Willis does the river dance. That's what it's like to see the story of us. Wild Wild West, which, like most great westerns, has a rap music soundtrack. Yeah, and it's downhill from there. It's good, clean, gay fun.
You're the only one for me.
At least my proctologist uses rubber gloves. Fight Club is a subversive $65 million underground film with a sense of humor that forces you to think.
6th rule, no shirts, no shoes. 7th rule, fights will go on as long as they have to. And the 8th and final rule, if this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
Okay, no shirt. I just want to get this all down. No shirt. You know what? I'll put my shirt back on, all right? This movie is going to get a lot of heat for its reckless violence by the usual group of 50-year-old, out-of-touch movie critics. Guess what, a-holes? This movie wasn't made for you. Fight Club is a film for my generation. This is a by-the-numbers thriller that highlights Jeff Bridges' best skill: overacting.
Would it be possible for you not to take my picture?
Yeah, she doesn't want to be photographed. A few scenes later, she's taking her top off. 2 reasons to see this film. 1, it's a chick flick, and any woman who sees this is liable to end up so worked up she'll be stuck to her seat. And 2, and I mean 2, Sarah Pauli's Canadian boobs.
Gory details.
That's it for the Oh, wait. I also saw The General's Daughter with John Travolta, and it sucked. That's it for the gory details.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I have not. Okay, the X Show was the first show. This was, I think, 1999 or it was the late 90s. It was my first experience doing television. What's funny is I look at that and I'm like, wow, I kind of haven't changed. I've changed physically, but like my opinions about things are kind of the same here. I wonder if there are any comments about what we just saw. I don't know what to say. Alan, do you have any comments on what we just witnessed?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Do you miss those days?
No, it was fun. It was, well, I miss the paycheck because my first foray in TV, it actually paid really well. And then the more TV I did, the less money I made. Yeah. By the time I got to G4 was actually the least money I've ever made in television. So anyways, let's see if there are any final comments here. Oh my God, there are a lot of comments. Nicholas Varga for $4.99. The irony, I actually like some of these movies. Won't say which ones though, but this gave me my laugh fix for the day. I'm dying. Thanks, you guys. Oh my God, Cody Lipschitz for $99.99. Wow. Chris and Alan, question. Were you serious when you said you would actually do the Galactic Star Cruiser if someone else paid for it? I'd be interested in your review, like when you went to the Galaxy's Edge. If someone else paid for it, I would go.
Absolutely. I'm in if someone else paid for it.
What I would try to do, though, is I would try to monetize it for some charity or something. So Alan and I would go, but then it's like we would maybe have the video sponsored or like maybe do a fundraiser for the video that we would do.
I wonder if we could live stream at some point while we're
I don't know. Can you live stream from there? I don't know if you can.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. But Cody, thank you. The $99.99, extremely generous. Thank you. And you were great. Your comments during the interview with the Chop and Steele guys was awesome. Oh my God, Joe and Nick were amazing. Thank you, Cody. Yeah.
By the way, only $5,900 to go, and we're on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
How would we do, like, if we went, Alan, would you and I go and like share a room or like?
Probably. I mean, isn't a 4-person room?
I don't know what it is. Well, if it's we'd have to.
They're not gonna let you go stag on that thing.
Yeah, and also it's way too expensive to get 2 rooms. I don't know. I would do it. Yeah, if someone else paid, I would do it, but I would try to do like a fundraiser in there. Jamma, and you can reach out to us. Anyone interested? Go to filmthreat.com/contact. And you can support us and go to shop.filmthreat.com. You can get this. I'm going to wear this shirt when I go see The Flash. And just go to filmthreat.com/contact if you want to fund Alan and I going to the Galactic Star Cruiser. All right, there are a ton of comments about this. I'm going to get through as many as I can. Murdoch 86 Threat Level 2 has been a member for 6 months, says, afternoon, Film Threat. JTP RX says, you should do a 5-minute gory details on this show versus Alan's Corner. Yeah, gory details, like, I should just bring that back or something. Cavatino Cavalryman Shay says, bring back the goatee, Chris.
I want to see the white goatee. I want to see the gray goatee.
Okay, the early days of Attack of the Show, I had a goatee in 2005. So I had that goatee for a while and I just lost it. And by the way, my hair looks darker in there, but it was the lighting. I still had gray hair even then. I had silver hair, kind of, but you can't tell. It's a lot of it is the lighting. Sometimes, yeah. How old was Chris? Let's see, that was late 90s. So I don't know. I was in my 30s then.
Yeah, early 30s, definitely.
Early 30s. So there you go. I'll roast myself. I don't care if it's entertainment for the show. I'll get through your comments.
By the way, who's on the panel? Who's on the panel on that show?
On the show, it was Mark DiCarlo, a bunch of other comedians. They brought on Bert. He was they kind of reconfigured the show. But Mark DiCarlo, I worked with, he was the greatest. Jillian Barbary was also on the show. She came and did the news, and they would always strategically show her legs. She always had like a mini skirt and high heels, and they would show her legs. So
can't do that no more.
Kyle 3 says, Film Threat got me so worked up, I'm stuck to my seat. Well, see, here's the thing. I would write those reviews. So Gory Details, what I would do is I would write the reviews, and then I would, they would have to be vetted through the lawyer. And I would always argue with the lawyer, like, well, how can I get around saying that? Like I would think, like, what is up to the limit of what I could say? I was always trying to be like vulgar or push the limits, and the producers encouraged it. The producers of the X Show encouraged it. And that went on. Then from that show, I did another show called The New Movie Show. Maybe I can show clips from that on a future. But yeah, I literally was like, oh, wow. I wonder if people would be curious to see this. And then I watched it with you because I don't like to watch myself, oddly. That was amazing. Gore before he got his cyan hair, says MM. Yeah, before it definitely went full silver. Bad Adam 12, I like the review style. It was always like I was reviewing like a couple of movies every week. So I'd go see the movies and then I would write like a review. It had to be like under a certain number of words because my segment was like 5 minutes. So I would write the reviews. They were vetted and it was on a teleprompter. So I was reading, but I was reading stuff that I wrote because I saw the movie. Dude, that was so rad, says Phone Punk. Cat in Philly says Gory Details is the best thing I've ever seen. Should we upload that video as like its own thing, separate?
Oh, yeah.
Might be funny.
Yeah,
I'll send it. You know what? I'll send it to our producer, Glenn.
Yeah, because I wonder if the South Park segment is going to get us.
Might need to. We'll see. We'll see if we'll get hit. This movie wasn't made for you. Chris started it. Says Introspect M. Yeah, there you go. It just bugged me that like Fight Club got really bad reviews, and I freaking love that movie. Lubitch Touch Me says this was definitely worth the wait. Mike MC Wong says nice tat. OMG, Chris, you're so cute, says the nerd far away. JTPRX, this is great. Spidey Sensei 72. Chris looks like a young Stephen King. That goofy haircut is the thing that kind of, I don't know, bugs me. Alan Horkin, have you changed your opinion on The Long Kiss Goodnight? I don't know. I'd have to see it again. 90s goatee, says Davina Duckworth. And Lubitch Touch Me says, I loved the X Show. Here's the thing. I was on the X Show. The X Show was shot on the same lot as the Man Show. And I liked the Man Show a lot. And I couldn't talk about how much I loved the Man Show. So when I would go to work, I would go into like hair and makeup, whatever. It was the X Show. We do a rehearsal. Then I would do the show. I would do it live, right? I would see Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla. I'd see them walking around. I go like, oh, hey guys, I love the Man Show, but I had to kind of hide that from the producers of the X Show. So yeah, blast from the past, says Lord Thoth. Thank you, Lord Thoth, for your moderation in the chat. We love it. Jericho Leon, this is excellent. Like a multiversal variant of Chris. Love the hair, says Mike MC Wong. Patrick Lemire says Chris when he was in IT. And Jamalama just sends in 199. Thank you, Jamalama. JTP RX, I like Bert, but sometimes he laughs too much at things that are not that funny, but he seems like a nice guy. He is genuine. Like the Bert you see performing and the Bert you see on Joe Rogan and the Bert you see public, that's just him. He is laughs all the time. He's friendly to everybody. I don't think I ever saw him get upset about anything. God, super nice guy. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Vargas says the New Movie Show was my first exposure to you, and I love that. You had a segment where you focused on Phoebe Cates and Fast Times, and I've never forgotten it. Wow. Maybe we'll have to like dig up an old video. The Phoebe video from Fast Times. I want to redo that video, but with my face. Alan, would you mind if I showed that?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Patrick Lemire says, Chris Gore's ass isn't here to be nice on the eyes for you. Yeah, remember that, folks. Geek
yes,
Truth.
Please do not sexualize Chris.
Geek Drew 64. I guess that set the tone for the movie for you, Alan. And then Aaron Taylor says, if we have all these 3-hour movies, we need a 5-hour film threat. Yeah, film threat's really long today. Film threat's over 3 hours this episode, and I blame you. I blame myself for being late, and I feel guilty. And I always think about the audience. And I got up at 6:30 a.m. I swear, 6:30 a.m. I turned on my coffee maker. I'm like, all right, it's early. I can sneak in some more Z's. And then all of a sudden my phone rings, and Alan's like, "What did you say to me this morning?"
Okay. Oh, I think I just said wake up.
Wake up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then, it would have been funny if you went live and called me live. Next time, if that happens another time,
Okay.
Alan, you got to like go live and then just, go live and then call me and then get me on the phone. That'd be hilarious. A guy I knew back in the day had a really good idea for a podcast. Okay. This podcast was called Sorry I Woke You. And the whole thing is you're going to be on the show, but they don't tell you when you're going to be on the show, and they get your phone number and then they call you at an ungodly hour, like 4 a.m, to wake you up. And then they start the interview. It's called Sorry I Woke You. I wonder, did he ever do that podcast? It's a really cool concept for a show. Not Pip Boy Gamer. Chris is a celebrity. I never felt like a celebrity. Oh, Chris, you're making me hate you, says Aaron Taylor. I hope you didn't hate me too much. But that about wraps it up for us today. I do love to give little bonus and surprises. Maybe we'll show more old clips of me on television, because I think there's a best of the new movie shows somewhere, and I will dig that up. So yeah, punctuality is overrated, says Alan Horkin. And then Tina Guzman says, I love the long show. Well, there you go. Maybe we'll go longer. Maybe we'll just go longer on Fridays, but I do want to come on and do an occasional while the trial is going. The trial is going to go through the end of July. We mapped it out. The trial is going to go through the end of July. We may have a live event at San Diego Comic-Con where we kind of, wrap it up. And then there you go. Okay, good. So Shrek, wait, I think you do good work, Shrek PMC. And Chris, you are a minor celebrity. Okay. I'll tell you though, when I go to San Diego Comic-Con, it's the only time I actually do feel kind of like a celebrity, just because people say hi to me. And I like taking photos. So
yes, we can never get anywhere.
Yeah. Oh wait, Patrick Lemire. He's a celebrity. Yeah, I'll take that. I'm on the C list. That's better than the D list. So I thoroughly enjoyed today, says Nerd Far Away. Well, thanks. Yeah, I think about the audience. I care about the audience. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Alan wants us to get to how many subs? 169,000. 169,000. So there you go. And, look, I saw The Little Mermaid just because I liked kind of got wrapped up in the first 20 minutes doesn't mean that I don't think it's a piece of shit. Exactly what that guy said. So there you go. And just a quick reminder that, Rumble, Winter Soldier sub-supporter. We appreciate you on Rumble as well.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Hopefully
nice little icon there.
There you go. And another reminder that there's a lot of things I love. I love a lot of movies, but there's so many things I love. And in particular, give me Dick.
About the
Dick
other
Grayson. I knew that would get clipped when I said that. Thank you so much. Critics Court is in session next week. Ryan Cannell is on the prosecution team. Sparks are going to fly, I promise you. And Cody Lipschitz says The Long Kiss Goodnight was a good film. And yes, I'll say it, Cutthroat Island was not bad. All practical stunts and effects, Quentin Tarantino gave it a shout out. I will revisit that. The Long Kiss Goodnight. So yeah, I mean, look, sometimes your opinion does change after a while. You've seen something, you're a different person, and whatnot. So there you go. And so, yeah, I'm not and look, my opinion about Fight Club, I feel like I was right at the beginning. That movie, people still talk about that movie from 1999. That movie was a game changer. and it's been incredibly influential. It's an incredibly radical film. A studio would not make a movie like that today. Absolutely would not. We'll be back next week with Critics Court. Also next week, Spider-Verse. We're talking Spider-Verse 2 next week. Alan, what do you got this weekend?
Let's see. I'm performing in San Diego at 7:30 on Saturday. You can nationalcomedy.com. And if you're going to the Mulan screening in Los Angeles, I will be there as well.
Mulan screening in LA. Where's this?
It's a Disney event, but it's an outdoor screening of the animated Mulan, not the live action. Thank God.
Well, Bush and Ryu Cat for 2 says, for the last Star Wars trial, get George Lucas for show. I would love to do that. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I don't think we're going to be. I did think about, what do people think about this idea? A George Lucas impersonator, someone who looks and sounds just like George. And we'll say George Lucas impersonator, but they'll actually be George Lucas. What do you think? And like,
there are a few people who could do that.
Is that a decent idea? Y's in the chat for yes, N for no. Right now in the chat. Why? George Lucas impersonator, yes or no? Yes, Y, N, no. And I will not be on FNT tonight. Paul Chato is on FNT tonight. So there you go. Oh, wow. It's all Y's. All right. That will happen. That will happen. Y's. I don't see a single N. So there you go. Thank you. We will bring on a George Lucas impersonator at some point in the future of Critics Court. I'm a little concerned that like the first episode got like 35,000 views. The second one got like 22,000 and they keep kind of dropping. So I do think that I do think that having a looser, maybe not so formal format once we get to the debate, like you've got your presentations, then the debate, and make the debate looser. I think so. A couple people sent some advice. You should get Chrissy Mayer to be Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, that's a good. Oh, yes. Horror.
Yeah, that would have to be the finale.
Oh, that'll be okay. Kathleen Kennedy impersonator. Horror Punk. Thank you so much, Horror Punk, a member. Great idea. There is a Critics Court forum in the Discord. Any other ideas? What can we improve the show? Please talk in the Discord. Alan and I both read the Discord. I'm not active in terms of posting on the Discord, but I always go to the Discord to just sort of read what people are saying. I usually communicate with emojis, but
and an updated link is in the community chat.
Community tab. There's an updated link for the Discord. Alan, anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Filmthreat.com.
And I want to say thank you to Ms. P. Coffee, doing a great job today. She is on vacation and she's doing this. We love her for it and we appreciate her. So sending good vibes to Ms. P. Coffee. Be nice to her in the chat or you will be out. So there you go. Thank you. There you go. JTPRX Threat Level 2 has been a member for 8 months and says, Christian Harloff, know a good George Lucas impersonator. Actually, the guy who did did you ever see those videos where they did the deep fake George Lucas? Okay. No, that guy reached out to me.
Are you talking Josh Robert Thompson?
The guy, okay. Collider did these videos where they did a deep fake George Lucas. The guy who did those reached out to me. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say. So thank you, JTPRX. We're going to end it there. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We're trying to build something here, and we appreciate that you're along for the ride with Alan and I. Alan, take us out.
Let's get out of here.